fans will want to see here, but definitely TT Global here. They come to this stage, and today they are challenging one of the Global's best teams here. They are definitely going to show us what it is coming from the strongest region, which is KPL.
Yeah, one of the strongest regions, one of those big mountains to climb that some of these teams, unfortunately, weren't able to get their footing up that mountain. And still now we have Nova Esports, Twisted Minds a little later on, looking to be those teams that can be. But we're going to be getting into the gorge, ladies and gentlemen, at the Amazon Arena. This is TT Global against Nova Esports. Let's give them a Jayo!
Let's go, Jayo Nova Esports and TT Global as game 1 of the semifinals begins.
Yeah, as it begins, I mean, this is where it's all going to start to sort of like come into fruition, right? Let's see, like you say, Sagi, that TT Global are looking to have that aggressive early game. Obviously, picks like the Agudo, fast rotations is what we may potentially see here.
And already a strong punish here coming in from the bottom side, coming in from Nova here. Being punished, Muchi, already half health here. This laning here coming in from Joy and Snowy, they know for a fact that if we allow this early to scale, we're going to have a tough time here. So, very good pacing here.
Very good pacing indeed, right? They've got to be careful for the side of obviously Nova Esports. We do get a rotation here from Wendy. Like we were saying in the draft, we're looking at that hyper carry potential here with these 3 players.
And look at Crane here. He has a very good position here to gank 3 members of Nova Esports. They are forcing them away from this fire beam.
Yeah, that Frigid Prism was just enough to kind of keep them away. They didn't want to get caught, because if they got caught, then we would have saw TT Global just climbing on top of Nova Esports. But realistically, they were looking for the resources.
Exactly. This is the beauty of Honor of Kings. If you play around the resources, you can gain so much momentum onto the map here. And Firebeak, it only spawns once. If you secure it, you're definitely going to be coming out on top of the map.
Yeah, definitely one shot, one opportunity down to the bot side of the map for that mob camp there, which is the Fire Phoenix. But here we go with a bit of tit for tat here, trying to claim the Fire Beak. It goes over to the side of TT Global at this point, but here a little bit of a 3v2 dive over the top side of the map here. Sunrise Snowy looking to try and get out of here, but able to get to the T1. They don't have the minion wave to push.
Beautiful stuff here coming in from Sunrise here. He timed the ultimate Gorge mobilization so well to dodge out CY's ultimate coming in from the Musashi here. You need to be pixel perfect to execute that.
Yeah, the Illuminate Slash is pretty clean sometimes as well, right? Like getting that projectiles off the board here is definitely what they could be doing, right?
That is exactly the case here, but so far so good coming in from this early game here. TT Global with their good fundamentals. They are making sure that Muchi locking his early does not have good time at all.
Yeah, I mean, early game power spike onto the early obviously is going to be that Doomsday Eye, which we can kind of see maybe a change of pace, a little bit more pressure from the side of Nova Esports once that item gets onto the board here. But already, we're seeing Snowy put so much pressure down to the bot side. He's able to roam, able to claim some more of those jungle camps to himself.
And I gotta give props to Joy here. He's doing such a good job in pressuring Muchi here. And Muchi, you know for a fact that he's one of those early players in this tournament who favors the Spark Sports Dagger into the Doomsday build. It allows him to have a very strong early to mid game, but it falls off hard towards the late game.
It falls off hard, but obviously, like you were saying there, wave clear for the Spark Forge Dagger is going to be one of those key components, but also trying to get the poke and prod onto the backline, right? Because, I mean, we're seeing here, Snowy's playing very sort of like to his distance. He's kind of like making sure that he knows the extent of Chano's distance and playing to that carefully, not trying to allow sort of like Muchi to go in deep and try and get those damage onto him.
And that's exactly the case. Look at Muchi here. Every time he comes up for a minion, he will get punished here. And look at mid lane though, as 3-man coming in from Nova Esports. They want to break this freeze. If this freeze is not broken here, Wendy cannot be traveling the map here. But look at the amount of pressure here coming in from this 2v3 from TT Global.
Yeah, able to keep themselves alive is Crane and Sunrise, right? I mean, both ultimates were being expended there, but it's still around about 20 seconds until Tyrant and Overlord come onto the Gorge. So really, we're going to get those ultimates back in time for those team fights.
Exactly, and some of these items from the side of Nova Esports has been completed here. We see a Spark Forge Dagger being completed. On the side of TT Global here, Snowy is about to finish up his Eternity Blade, which is going to be crucial for this team fight.
Yeah, a lot of crit damage coming over from that item, right? I mean, yeah, Eternity Blade first item for the Chano is going to be very detrimental here for the side of TT Global. Winter is here, just going to be zoned down there onto the side of Nova Esports, but it's going to be Joy trying to get the hits on as forcing the flash out of the team fight. Can Sunrise soak the damage? Muchi with the first blood.
Beautiful team fight here coming in from Nova Esports here. Wendy is fearless onto this Yuhua here. The Wendy combo with the double unending sorrow. Perfect damage calculation. And right now, the jungle for TT Global is being invaded by Nova Esports.
Yeah, Nova just got that green light, right? They got the green light to get the kill and then go and take the Crimson Golem. Yes, they didn't get the Tyrant, but they are looking to get buffs across the gorge. And aiming for victory is going to be Nova Esports. So if you want some freebies, but aim for Vic in the CD key redemption in-game.
Head to the community tab, press that setting button, there will be a CD key, and send this in and you will get a free everything box. Good luck and get a legendary box.
Yeah, speaking of good luck though, obviously TT Global putting that pressure onto the bot side of the map, getting that first turret is going to be crucial here for Nova Esports, especially for Muchi, right? Like, he's now not going to be able to overextend. He's going to have to kind of always be nearby one of his teammates.
I would have to agree with you because losing out a tower, it means that you cannot be overextending towards the laning phase. But it's still an early here. So much mobility on this early here. As long as he has information on the map, he can do well here. And a small skirmish comes to the top side here. CY forces out Ching's ultimate.
Forces out Ching's ultimate is going to be a good shot here, obviously, going into potentially trying to get this dive onto this T1 up into the top side of the map. It's going to be CY. It's going to be
Rise.
Shawan here trying to get that raid. But it is, it's going to be the Razor Cavalry over the wall. Actually not used just yet. It's just going to be that leap, that momentum from the Guan Yu here. Destiny counter being bright here, trying to keep Crane alive. Nova gets the takedown. Nova gets the triple kill.
4 kills towards the side of Nova Esports. Ching, the only surviving members here. What a team fight coming from Nova Esports as they make it big. Strand with an amazing engage.
Rampage.
They get Ching taken down as well. Looking for the T1 into the mid lane. Nova with the fighting fire. The fearlessness from this team.
Exactly, look at this flank here coming in from Nova Strand here. Yes, a very good team fight engaged by CY. Look at Strand here. 2-man, 3-man, all push towards the side of Nova Esports. Man, 6-0 on the board for Nova fans.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 came through there. Obviously, 4-0 trade overall. And then 5, 6 kills onto the board. T1 into the mid lane. Looking to take that T1 up to the clash lane. So really, TT Global might be like, okay, we need to make sure we're approaching these team fights a little bit more cleaner because Nova really caught them dead.
They really caught them dead, and my goodness, Nova Esports, what an amazing early game that they set themselves up right now. If you're Nova Esports, you gotta look to further pressure your lead towards this mid game.
Look at the pressure the lead for the mid game here. Trying to keep it on thick right, not able to get that Azure Golem from Sunrise, so they're able to get that little bit of a constellation price here. But Muchi, after he being punished in that early game, looking to take that T1-2 into the farm lane, but into the back line is going to be CY, but Sunrise has the Blood Rage. It's been activated. Schwan trying to get out, and by the help of Wendy, is able to.
Man, very good stuff here coming in from both teams here. They are playing the back and forth so well here. TT Global, with their strong fundamentals, they are making sure that these side towers aren't going to be going down without a big fight.
Yeah, I mean, definitely we've seen here that Jing is actually trying to be pushed away to the side lanes, like you were saying there, Sagi, trying to keep that pressure away from the side of TT Global. But again, we're getting around about that 8-minute mark. Nova Esports, with the lead of gold, could be a little bit scary here, but TT Global maybe trying to not get down there, but the flash from Wendy tries to catch out Snowy and Sunrise there. But still, this team fight is going to be bit for bitter. They are backing off.
Wendy is so confident with these engages here. He knows for a fact that with the double and ending sorrow here, he can single-handedly push out all the members coming in from TT Global here. And right now, Nova, they're just getting all these objectives on the match and slowly pushing their leads towards a comfortable 4,000.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing that we always kind of give a bit of a criticism to the global teams, right? Like, they don't get the kills. If they do get the kills, they don't translate it into further objectives, which is what something Nova Esports has always been good at. And right now, they're displaying it even against the top A.C.L. team.
They are practically committed right now, but look at Joy though, he gets caught out right here. Joy gets taken down!
Joy goes down. Can Nova Esports find any more joy in the form of kills onto the side of TT Global? TT Global not quite yet got a kill on the board here. Crane into the back line. The dive from Schwan. Wendy with the CC. The crucial initiation. The T2 takedown.
What am I watching here? Nova Esports is on fire, Blam! Kills after kills here coming in from Nova Esports, 8-0 against a KPL team.
Yeah, I mean, the KPL games from yesterday, right? Like, they were low kill games. Right now, they are looking still like a low kill because neither TT Global don't have a kill yet onto the board, but 8 kills for Nova, like you were saying there, Sagi, it's a pretty good sign, right? It's a pretty good sign, but they just have to make sure they don't get too cocky here. We've already seen that the ultimate there onto Jing gets expanded, but there, it's going to be the Razor Cavalry bringing Jing into the side of Nova Esports.
Shred with the Razor Cavalry brings in Ching towards the side of Nova Esports, getting another kill, getting another buff. 10 minutes in, Shadow Tyrant has been spawned onto the map right now as Nova Esports. Man, what a healthy lead going to this objective right now.
Very healthy lead for the MKL Spring Season champions so far. The Season 3 Invitational champions as well. If you're thinking, looking at this global team, looking at this A.C.L. team, that they did not have a chance, they are looking to prove it to those doubters within the global scene.
This is the growth that we want from the global scene, and Nova Esports are really showing us what it means to be one of the strongest international teams of HOK.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team that took OG Esports down 4-0, right? I mean, that kills me to say, being a KMW guy myself, that kills me to say that OG dropped that 4-0, but you can kind of see now, it's all making sense. The pieces are falling into place here for Nova Esports as they're looking to cement both of those shadow objectives.
Both shadow objectives being secured as you mentioned here, and right now they are looking to further push up their lead here. You gotta keep your eyes on Gen.G here because he's gonna be putting a lot of pressure onto Snowy and Crane coming to this fight.
Putting a lot of pressure onto both of those players onto the side of TT Global, right? But speaking of pressure, Winter is here, is going to mitigate a lot of that pressure here for the side of Nova Esports, and TT Global get to keep their T3s alive just for now.
Wave clears are very good here coming in from TT Global thanks to the Winter is here as you mentioned. This Princess Frost, if she goes down here, it's going to be a big problem. However, she has just secured her Splendor.
Secured her Splendor, so they could bait one on the side of Nova Esports, right? Maybe CY goes for a bad dive with a duel to the death. But Joy over the wall uses Destiny counter, actually hits onto 2, but it's going to be Schwan on the Guan Yu, trying to bully and pick Joy off, but Sunrise goes down. The T3 goes down. Sagi, what am I watching?
What am I watching is a spectacle coming in from Nova Esports as they take down another tier 2 here. 10-0 on the scoreline here. They have yet to drop any single members.
Not a single member nor a sausage inside here for the side of TT Global. Nova Esports 10-0 into the T3. Splendor being used here by Crane. Winter is here, is used. Wendy's actually going to be the first blood here for TT Global, making sure it's pushing away Nova Esports. They've lost one soldier, now they have to go and recruit.
8,000 goal lead for the side of Nova Esports here. 11-1. Nova Esports global fans, are you not happy about this?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they've got to be cheering. They've got to be cheering. No matter which fan of the team you are of the global esports scene, this is really going to be making them all stand in unity. But this engage here, the takedown of obviously Sunrise already gone. Crane get taken down there. So Wendy for Crane, a little bit of a good trade here for Nova Esports.
But still, Crane Splendor will be down for the next upcoming 2 minutes here. So that's a very pivotal cooldown here. And in the span of 40 seconds to 1 minute, both shadow variants will be spawned onto the map here. We have to see if Snowy is able to really survive in these team fights because he's a 4-item channel right now. If he doesn't carry, who will coming in for the side of TT?
Yeah, that's what exactly it, right? Like, in terms of damage, we were really kind of hoping that Snowy and Jing, with that a really good time ultimate on the Barty here, could be the saving grace for TT Global. But for the side of Nova, they haven't caught out Mooch yet. 3-0-6, he's not 6-slotted, he's looking for a little bit more of attack speed. We've got the Sun Chaser, we've got the Daybreaker, we've got the Doomsday, we've got the Spark Forge.
And soon to be right now, they're looking for a big fight. 3-man stun onto the endless of TT Global. The fight is huge. Nova, kill after kill. That's 3, 4 final members onto the TT ticket. Nova Esports with the ace on TT Global.
Nova take down one game from ACL teams. This is crazy. Are you not entertained?
I am definitely entertained right now, Black, because what a spectacular game coming in from Nova Esports. Wow!
Absolutely cinema, right? It's been a whole year since the KPL Dream Team have been at EWC, and not a single team could take a round. TT Global recently took a series off of AG.AL. Now, Nova takes a game. What have we just witnessed? If the crowd's not going wild there, I don't know what is going to get you going other than that first win off Nova Esports. But let's look at this replay.
I am telling you, Nova Esports into the early game, they played extremely well with their orchestrated engages here, and definitely, every fight was Xuan and Wendy, CY, looking for all these crucial engages here. It was always these three members, and they played that extremely well, but it is still a best of 7 here, Blam. We know for a fact that best of 7 is not about a sprint, it's a marathon here. TT Global, being one of the top teams in KPL, they have what it takes to recuperate and replan their strategies.
A brilliant point there, Sagi, right? Like, it's a marathon, not a sprint. But if you get the fastest lap, is that still not a record?
That is definitely true as well, Blam. So we definitely have to see what our panelists have to say about this. Take it away.
Are you not loving this? Are you not loving this? Nova Esports takes the first victory, 1-0 advantage on top of TT Global. If they thought that it was going to be a 4-0 sweep, I'm telling you, they were very, very wrong.
That is exactly what I'm looking for right there. I was mentioning Wendy being a hyper carry, right? He gets super fed, early game triple kill, and they proceed to carry the entire game. They never let their foot off the gas.
Yes.
They went in, tactically retreated when it was time.
Yeah,
That's such a beautiful game.
You called it, Phil. You called it. You said it's going to depend on Wendy. How can he carry? If Wendy can really hard carry in here, it's going to be amazing. Now, on the other side, Manjin, you put the eyes on Xuan, right?
Yeah.
Because you said that it was going to come down to the clash lane, and it went down to the clash lane as well.
For sure, for sure. And man, I have 2 words. Mind blown. Mind
Completely.
Blown. Again, we expected that maybe the TT Global might go 3 first, then we can get another game for one game for the Cyber Nova. But then again, Shuan stepping up to the plate in terms of the itemization, also immediately picking that anti-heal item to negate all of the sustain that the siege comp of Team TT Global. We were talking about it. TT Global, they want to play it slow. They want the units, they want the heals, they want the sustain, they want the push. But no, we have the necessary power spikes to neglect the defense that you have and then go for kills like this.
It's just so amazing to see the coordination of Nova Esports coming in. A lot of people said like, oh no, they cannot compete against the KPL teams. And we said it right over here. This is going to be a diagnosis of where we are right now. And where we are in heaven right now, because that 1-0 already says a lot.
That 1-0 definitely says a lot here. And this is going to shock a lot of people, you know? As we mentioned, the predictions were 4-0.
Yep.
And this one game, it's not just, a hard-fought battle. They dominated in this first game here.
Yeah, gods do bleed, and it was not even a drop of blood.
They, cut the god's arm off.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And what's interesting here is Wendy, and I would we are commending Wendy, but I also want to give it to Waypit. The Wendy and Waypit combination acting as double tanks.
Yes.
Plus, not just tanking like everything, they're also poking. Like the Dolia and the Yuhuan combination, you should write this down, everyone in the audience area, especially at home. This is a great combination for you to have. Poke plus tankiness. All you need to do is go front, press your first skill, second
so
skill,
good.
then you're good.
I'm telling you, this is just an amazing start for the day. If you are not happy right now, I don't know what you got in your hearts, because this was an amazing presentation. If this is going to be only game 1, imagine what 8 hours of amazing games we're going to have. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go for a break, and when we come back, it's going to be game 2.
Level up your gaming experience with over 8 billion playlists, only on Spotify, the official audio streaming partner for the 2025 Esports World Cup.
This land is calling.
It's already 1-0, and it's not for TT Global. It is for Nova Esports. They take the lead 1-0 in this match 1. We're going to move into game 2, but let's talk a little bit about that Nova performance. It was top level. And what do you guys think that Nova did that gave them the advantage in this game 1?
I like the patience, of course, for the side of Nova. The patience and the confidence that they have. They got the first 5 minutes that they want. I do feel that TT Global, they're kind of like holding back in terms of the usual playstyle that they want. We want to see the fast pace. I do feel that they need to shift the gears right here, right now. They're on gear number 1. Maybe like move it to gear number 5 if they have it, or just do fight fire with fire now.
Of course,
because Nova has the momentum.
No, and I love the way that you put it. Like, if right now Nova Esports is going to be the ones just commanding and they're going to be driving, TT Global needs to take the wheel right now, and they have to take it back immediately.
Nova Esports is not a team you can pull any punches towards, and you see what happened there. First game, 16-1.
What?
I'm telling you, those numbers we have never seen before. If you are not happy about this, what are you thinking about? Nova Esports coming in here and demonstrating that right now the students are moving closer and closer to the masters.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about it, and if we look at the series yesterday, Nova in this one game may have killed TT Global more times than the entire series yesterday. It's close. The number is actually probably pretty close.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine that yesterday TT Global had such a clear, dominant performance, and then they come in today and then immediately just receive directly to the face? Can they come back from this one?
I do feel that we're going to have a series right now. I think TT Global, there's a reason why they banned out the Hino also. Again, they're going for the units. You don't want like extra AOE damage, right? But then again, I do feel that they overthink also their draft because they kind of like underestimated Shuhan's hero pool here. Looking at the screen, it's Shuhan, right? So they kind of like underestimated that maybe he's gonna go for the Hino. But then again, Nova keep it simple. They kept it simple. Basic HOK. They have early game, mid game, late game, plus they have sustain and damage.
It's just a matter of just taking a little bit advantage and then just create that into a landslide. And Nova Esports has shown us that against all of the different teams over there in the global server. But right now, doing it against one of the top KPL teams, that is a completely different conversation.
Absolutely, and I think this next game coming up is going to be pivotal because, as you said, Isaac, they're kind of shell-shocked right now. And Game 2 is going to show, are they going to be able to shake that off, or are they going to be, struggling, lost for the series?
They have to bring it on. They have to bring it on. So many different fans coming in all the way from their homes right here to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And they want TT Global to give us the performance that they actually expect. So right now, TT Global, the ball is on your court. What are you going to do? What are you going to show us? I know the coach right now is not happy at all.
He's speaking his language. I want to hear him. Maybe we can like have a mic check of him, like speaking to his teammates.
Oh, there might be some words we can't have on stream. We listen to the coach there.
I'm telling you, I've heard how Joshua gets really mad, and right now he is furious.
For sure. I kind of want to see something new here for the side of TT Global. Maybe prioritize on the jungle assassins. They went on an Agudo jungle here. Maybe they will open for sure. Kind of like maybe open up the Jing or open up the Luna.
I think they definitely got a reality check from that game here, and now they got to refocus back up and be like, whoa. We didn't win yet, guys. Everyone says we won already, but we have not won yet.
But I'm telling you something. If you look at the global ban pick and you see the picks right over here, there were not that many meta heroes that they were lost right over here for the side of TT Global. Besides the Fatih or the Agudo, besides that, I don't think that it's going to have a very big impact. A lot of people say, okay, Princess Frost and Lian, that composition is not going to work no more. But we've already seen Princess Frost just working it out in different concepts. We could have the Lian with the Angela instead of that Lian and Princess Frost, right?
We can have like instant burst damage coming in from TT Global. I do feel that the Dharma is still a permaban here for this game. For sure, they don't want to give Nova the wheel also. But then again, the momentum. I like the momentum of Nova here. If you have momentum in your veins, you will definitely be confident in your overextensions and will take risky plays.
When you think about momentum, you think about Nova. Now, is that going to change right now? We cannot count TT Global out of this game. And I know everyone is super happy, super hyped, super excited about the fact that Nova Esports won it, but this is a best of 7. And that game number 2 is going to start right now, exactly from the BP. Nova Esports still on the blue side, TT Global on the red side. Sagi Blam, are you guys enjoying as much as we are?
Enjoying it as much as you are. I mean, did you not listen to that cast? We were absolutely ecstatic. TT Global against Nova Esports. They have now put the creme de la creme on the KWC Honor of Kings tournament.
I am definitely stoked after that series there, Blam. Gotta say, Isaac, you gotta be listening to us, man. We were so darn happy in that series. But, okay, back to reality here. 1-0, Nova Esports currently up in the scoreboard. But it's still a best of 7 here, and that game was a very expensive draft coming in from Nova Esports.
Very expensive draft, but it also means that they can obviously take away the Arlie now, right? They pick the Arlie in game number 1. They can continue to keep banning out the Arlie and not give it over to TT Global. And again, pick number 1, we get the Lung pick for the side of Nova Esports. Locking in Muchi's pick, because again, this is going to be a little bit harder to catch, right, for the side of TT Global.
That's definitely the case here. We know for a fact that Long has the Infinite Vassals, which is the ultimate. You get to bail out from the likes of the Dharma if you can react in time. So it's a bit of like a cat and mouse chase here coming in from TT's King here and Nova Muji here. Whoever doesn't react on time will be punished deeply here. And Nova Esports locking in that Luna onto CY.
Yeah, Luna onto CY. Young Fei onto Wave Pit. We already started to see some signature picks from Nova in game number 1, and now we're getting some more here as well. Obviously, very much known for his Young Fei is Wave Pit in the MKL. But I mean, look at TT Global's draft, man. They've got the Dharma, they've got the Orgrin, they've got the sustainability, and they've got the playmate potential here. And they're rounding it out with the Hou Yi. So again, a good counter to the Lung.
Very good counter towards the Long if he does go for the tank, semi-tank Arcana build up for the Hou Yi here. Provides a lot of cooldown reduction and HP in the lane here with physical defense here. So that Hou Yi will be an ultimate bot, shooting down these burning sun arrows, making sure that he lands on the key targets of Nova Esports here.
Like I say, we saw Inua on the Hou Yi yesterday as well, right? Like his burning sun arrows, they definitely hit. So Snowy, I feel like he's going to have that same kind of zest, right? He's going to be able to get those landed and just set up those crucial plays. Maybe trying to get the pick off. I mean, we always note it, right? The good Hou Yi players, they land the burning sun arrows. The great Hou Yi players, they shoot the arrows in a range and in a way that the enemy team can't see them. And I think we're going to see something like that today.
We might see something like that as well, and especially to add onto your point, onto Hou Yi Ultimate. Imagine using the ultimate and your team is all nearby to capitalize on it. That makes the beauty of the Hou Yi pick here. So Snowy will have a very important job in setting up success for Ching and Sunrise into these later stages of the team fight as we look at the bans here. Whew. After that Guan Yu game here, more and more bans are being committed on the side of TT Global onto the player known as Xuan from Nova Esports.
Yeah, Xuan not being able to get obviously some of these big picks within game number 2. Obviously the Fatih, the Byron, and the Mayin being taken off the board here. I mean, we could potentially see something maybe like the Lu Ban come through, maybe the Sunset.
That may potentially be the case here. So for the side of Nova Esports, you have 2 carries, being the Long, being the Luna. Now, you need some form of engage or a beefy front line to assist the Zhang Fei into your dives here. So Nova Esports, potentially they are looking for picks such as the Sun Ce, as you mentioned.
Yeah, I mean here, okay, there's the control. We kind of talked about it here for the side of TT Global. They're going for the shirt, which has been a good pick within KWC, right? Obviously using the Silk Imprints, kind of bringing the enemy team to you. You're controlling that tempo. You're being the negative spin on your enemy team's team fight.
Crane onto Shi here, like you mentioned, the playmaking potential onto this pick here. So many playmaking potential coming from TT Global. You have the Shi, you have the Hou Yi, you have the Dharma here. So a lot of more active, proactive kind of playstyle here coming from TT Global in this game too here. They are definitely looking to be more on the proactive side in this game too.
Yeah, I mean, into the mid lane, I feel like for the side of Nova Esports, we might need to see another utility mage again, right? I mean, there we go. The Lady Gen, Destructive Deluge, and there it is. There is that crucial encounter that we're going to be getting in the form of the set sail for Sunset for Xuan.
That is actually a very good round up here coming in from Nova Esports, right? You can't be having everybody to take gold from your side here. So the key of the game here coming from Nova Esports, the gold distribution will go to the Luna, will go to the Long. Sun Ce and Lady Zhen and Zhang Fei will be the ones to formulate the team fight, the environment for these 2 picks to really prosper.
Yeah, they need to have, obviously, those 3 picks to prop up the Lung, the Luna, the double L. And we're going to get a little bit more control here for the side of TT Global. We saw it in the show match. We saw it yesterday. The Motsu here paired with the Hou Yi into the bot side of the map. Cannon Blasts, again, are going to be the kind of like the shot call potential here. Really good pairing with the Orgrin.
I'm loving the TT Global draft. They have so much setup here. The Cannon Blast, the Burning Sun Arrow. One of that hits, you're going to be seeing a Shi Silk Imprint pulling you towards the warm embrace of the TT Global draft here. So, the thing about these 2 drafts here, whoever pulls the trigger first will get the priority straight.
Yeah, exactly. Those who reap the rewards will sow the seeds of time as well. But this is going to be game number 2 between Supernova and TT Global. already with a win on the board is going to be Nova Esports. But for those joining new at the stadium, online, this is the draft for game number 2.
Game number 2 draft being kicked in for the side of Nova Esports and TT Global, the Thunder Threat here. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go into game number 2.
Game number 2, definitely going to be a feisty one, Sagi. I mean, TT Global aren't going to be happy with that loss onto the board, right? That blemish on their record. I feel like this is going to cause pain for Nova.
It will definitely cause pain for Nova, as this coming draft here coming TT Global, super proactive, always looking to make plays here. So it's a different shape up here compared to game 1 here, as we see a little brawl here coming from both these two mid lanes.
Yeah, a bit of pressure into obviously the enemy jungle here towards the Spike Tail Beast, just trying to put pressure onto Xuan.
And also, we are seeing a bit of a lane swap here coming in from both teams here, and Ching is heavily punishing Muchi here, and a level 1 invade already happening onto the jungle here.
Yeah, that Azure Golem steal away for the side of Nova Esports could be crucial here. Wave Pit is looking pretty low already, so we may be getting a very much earlier first blood going over to TT Global's Joy.
TT Global is already online in the level 1 pre-1 minute of this game here, and we know for a fact, if you're a Luna and you don't have the Azure Golem, you're gonna be having a very difficult time here. Especially, TT Global now have their timers on the buff.
They do have the timers on the buff, but Nova Esports, do not be discouraged. Be the spirit up, keep your spirits high, and spirit up is gonna be the CD key you can drop below to get that Alessio free trial skin.
And talk about free stuff, do log in and watch KWC to get that free avatar frame here. Very cool frame here that you can equip on your profile.
Yet again, right now, obviously, CY hasn't had his Azure Golem with that first wave, so CY has to play a little bit more conservatively, right? I mean, onto the Luna, we need that cooldown reduction, we need that mana, and when he doesn't have the Azure Golem, it's going to be hard to get those plays.
That is indeed definitely the case here, and we look at the mid lane play here coming in from TT here. They want to control this mid wave, and they want to make sure that the next Azure Golem that's going to be spawned towards the side of Nova Esports, the full team is going to come and invade them.
Yeah, I mean, they have the timers, right? Obviously, if you take your enemy's camps, if you take their buffs, either the Crimson or the Azure Golem, you get a little bit of intel on that mini-map, which is going to allow you to kind of formulate a little bit more of a game plan. But the Burning Sun Arrow does land onto Xuan. It misses the entire of the mid lane, but actually hits into the top side.
It does hit towards the top side here, but however, it's still on the tower here, so not a lot of follow-up that has been committed from the side of TT Global here. As we see, another invade here potentially being formulated by the side of TT Global onto this blue buff.
Yeah, they're looking to try for it, right? Obviously, Sunrise just try and use the Path of Pass in there, maybe just to get the intel that how many people are within that brush is probably just a good sign rather than Sunrise being too kind of aggressive and maybe getting taken down there. But if we're looking obviously at the overall goal lead, right? TT Global definitely have the lead, something they didn't have in game number 1.
Definitely a very big step up here compared to game 2 here, but Muji gets pulled in by the Silk Imprint here, gets punished heavily by the Burning Sun Arrow. But look at his positioning though. He might have an engage angle, but the engage is being called off here as they do not have enough members.
It's been called off. I mean, definitely a takedown onto Muchi here is going to be trouble for the side of Nova Esports. Obviously, the GPM is going to take a little bit of a suffering here for Nova because we need that late game insurance, right? Like, he's not going for the very expensive build, right? He's got the Meteor. He's going to be looking to go for like the Axe of Torment.
Either the Axe of Torment or he scales towards the third item as the Starbreaker here. So that's definitely up to Muji's case here. But I gotta commend TT Global here. That was a pretty solid engage here. Burning Sun Arrow right towards Muji's face. Immediately Silk Imprint to pull them towards there, giving him no window to commit for the Infinite Vastness escape.
Yeah, I mean, we always talk about the Infinite Vastness being your get-out-of-jail card, right? But when you're CC'd for gosh knows how long, you can't press the button, and that's exactly how they were able to catch up Muchi down to the bot side of the map. But 4-minute mark on game number 1 and game number 2, sorry, and TT Global are looking to clean off this Tyrant so quickly.
And Tyrant has been secured for TT Global here, and with that fresh Tyrant, they are once again looking to invade this blue buff here. Burning Sun Arrow hits onto Waypit.
We are saying that these Burning Sun Arrows are connected. It's going to go into Waypit for the Embroidered Lampers. These are predicted to split apart the team fight. The think inside the box is there to lock down the side of Nova Esports. So 1-1 trade is definitely the best case scenario here within that team fight for Nova.
But for TT Global here, they're definitely happy because securing that Azir Golem, securing that 1 kill here, and right now they're pressuring the mid T1 tower.
The mid T1 tower. I mean, this is a crucial objective for those new into the game. Trying to get that T1 in the mid lane means that your enemy's jungle becomes a little bit more available for yourself.
Right now, 2,000 gold lead, fresh for the side of TT Global here. They took back the control that they lost compared to game 1. Definitely a much cleaner execution coming in from TT Global in this game.
Much cleaner. Obviously, gold lead is definitely going to be one of those short indications that you're having a better early game, right? The fact that TT Global are ahead by around about, 2k gold difference, and now it's kind of only just going to be keep going and snowballing at this point, because in terms of the team fight here, Nova's yet to have their way in like we saw in game number 1. That way into the mid lane, CY onto the Musashi, was definitely the key to their inevitable victory in game number 1, right?
I have to agree with you, and right now in game number 2, we have to see Xuan and Weipit find these angles to access the backline here, but look at Ching. He's waiting for a prey here. Wendy gets caught out by the Truth Mantra!
Oh, the flash, the Truth Mantra comes through there, but it doesn't actually have as much dictation into this team fight as they thought. Mochi gets the kill here onto Ching as well. So Dharma going down, think inside the box being disrupted. CY, Mochi with the damage. We have the Infinite Vastness coming in onto Snowy. That's a 3-0-3-2 trade, for the side of Nova Esports.
And CY does not have the ultimate onto the Luna here. You cannot be fighting in the Ogre without your ultimate here. Weipit, potential sacrifice for his jungler's mistake here as CY has the ultimate again. Goes for 1v1, misses the ultimate. He has the backup.
Oh, he misses the mark, and that's a detrimental thing here for the side of the Luna on the Nova Esports. But now you can kind of see TT Global, Jing, as well as Crane are looking to try and find CY. Already, Xuan trying to give a bit of reinsurance here to his teammate, but it's not looking too good.
It's not looking too good as TT played that clean, making sure that CY does not hit the refresh mark here. And CY, Weipit, was the punishment on that series. Oh my, what a bombastic series coming into this game too here, Blam.
A very bombastic series at this point in the game. I mean, it's definitely going to be very interesting to see how Nova Esports comes back in this one. But this team fight was definitely kind of like one of those sure shines, right? Like, they were really kind of trying to hope to get some more onto the board, and they were able to get that double kill, able to get that 3-2 trade. But ultimately, CY obviously fell down towards the end, as well as Weipit.
And of course here, and Ching at the live play here gets punished for the side of Nova Esports here, gets taken down as Nova Esports pulls the perfect retreat while getting that 1 kill here. And talk about a replay here. Missing that refresh is so pivotal onto CY here. The pressure. Man, TT played that so well in the team fight.
I mean, it's one of the things that separates, obviously, some good players to the great players, is if you can kind of mitigate those marks onto the Luna, it really disrupts the absolute potential of her ultimate, right? But right now, Sunrise gets caught out into the brush here. He's just trying to sort of like poke and prod, make a little bit more of awareness here for the rest of the team on TT Global.
I gotta comment on Sunrise here. He's having a splendid game onto this all-ground here. The damage calculation, how much damage he can soak. He's having such a great job onto this all-ground here. He is such a raid boss of tank.
Raid boss indeed, right? I mean, Sunrise having a much more cleaner game here, but it is going to be the all-ground. I feel like it was kind of like maybe the side of TT Global basically they draw out the Musashi, right? Musashi being one of the greater counters to the Orgrin, and then they knew game number 2 they would go live. But speaking of going live, is gonna be the whole setup here from Ching. He's getting the kill onto CY as those neutral objectives come online for the second time in game number 2. Looking to stop it there, looking to just make sure to get a bit more pressure into these side lanes.
And that is the beauty, the perfection of TT Global's team composition. You want to take these buffs, you gotta be face checking into several spells here. We're talking about Arrow coming in from Ho Yi, Cannon Blast coming in from Mo Zi here, and Silk Imprint here. Once you get hit by those, you're gonna be seeing a Dharma flying towards your face.
Yeah, it's not one sight you want to see when you know Nova Esports, right? You don't want that Dharma crashing into you and getting those really big truth mantras into your team. Like, the playmaking potential here from the Dharma, from Jing as well, is what they're really hoping for and banking on here for TT Global.
I agree with you, and right now, TT Global, they have the absolute control with a healthy 5,000 goalie marching towards the next tier 2 of the side of Nova Esports here.
Yeah, taking the T2 down into the mid lane is going to be very potentially a big play here for TT Global. Looking to start up a bit of a team fight. Waypit does not have the unbridled outburst, so a little bit of an overstep there for the side of Nova Esports.
That is a beautiful crowd control change here coming in from TT Global. You land the arrow, you land the silk imprint, you land the cannon blast. I think Waypit was like, man, 5 seconds of crowd control here, I can't move, buddy.
You can't move, and that's the problem, right? Like, you can't move, you're slowed down. And the thing is about Zhang Fei, right? He can leap and save her in, but trying to leap out when you're being slowed is one of the hardest tasks in Honor of Kings.
It is indeed one of the hardest tasks here, and TT Global making the Shadow Tyrant of light work here. Just like last game here, TT Global mimicking Nova Esports collect the double objective here. They are further look to push the objective lead coming from the side of their goal lead.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many teams within the KWC at this point, right? They love to go for the double shadow variant objectives. Like we see Twisted Minds like to do it. We see that Nova loves to do it. And now TT Global's like, all right, bet if you want to play that game, if you want to just lose both of those neutral objectives so we can take the win, let's go.
Let's go indeed. And look at Snowy here. Snowy does not go for the conventional semi-tank on-hit build that features the Doomsday and Sparks Forge. However, he goes for the full critical damage build as he is one of the late game carries on the side of TT Global.
Yeah, a little bit of a difference of the build here for the utility pick that we saw from Inua. But right now, into the team fight is going to be Ching looking to try and get the Truth Mantra on. We see that obviously Waypick goes into the backline. Muchi tries to get the kill onto Snowy. Has to use the infinite vastness or else he dies. That's 2-0 trade here for TT Global. Looking to push the crystal.
Snowy does it all. He lands the arrow, he does the engage, and he does the damage per second here. And right now, Vanguards are marching from the side of TT Global here.
Yeah, not looking to sort of go out yet. It's going to be Schwan here onto the Sunset, but gets deleted here. And game number 2 goes over to TT Global.
TT plays a clean game, bringing the series to a 1-all for these both teams here. TT, I gotta say, compared to the game of performance, game 2, they did exceptionally well.
They did very well indeed, right? I mean, definitely having that gold lane pressure into the early game was what really separated them in game number 1 and game number 2. But more importantly was the fact that Nova Esports never got that crucial pick, never got that crucial kill into the mid lane that really started to open up to the side of TT Global. But this is what happens when you have a jungler that's so heavily dependent on that Azure Golem.
And this stems back to TT's Global's coach. He did such a good job in making sure that the game plan was to make this Luna have a terrible time here. We saw plays after plays. It was arrow into cannon blast, into silk imprint. There was no sign of Nova Esports being the primary engage. It was always TT Global coming on top.
Yeah, I mean, if you just look at the amount of crowd control, right, the setup for this team is crazy. So we're going to set up the analyst desk to analyze that amount of crucial crowd control that they had on the side of TT Global.
And it is indeed time for us to analyze all of this information. Thank you very much, boys. It is right now 1-1. TT Global coming back, taking the first victory for them, making this a draw right now, 1-1. And this is actually a really good way for them to come back in great fashion.
Team Nova, they woke up the Giants, right? Like, finally we're here. Finally, they shifted the gears on the 5th gear, like what we said. And yeah, it's all in stuns. Stun after stun after stun after stun. Team TT Global finally giving us some of those action-packed, flashy combos that we want. And plus countering the long pick of Team Nova with that Chi and getting that early game invade that we're looking for.
It was exactly how you called it, right? Like, you wanted them just to really step on the gas, and stepping on the gas, they did.
They're definitely starting to bust out more of their tactics now. They're like, okay, Nova, you guys can hang, all right? But can you stop this instant invade here? They lose their first blue, and then just like that, Nova's like, whoa, they have definitely awoken the giant now.
Yeah, of course. Like, one of the interesting things about this composition, right? Like, when you think about Nova, you're thinking about, okay, they do need to have the multiple initiation. If they have a multiple initiation to key members is going to be fine for them. But the problem with TT Global is that their composition allows them just to chip your HP bars and just go in and poke and poke and poke. This one right over here from CY, he wants to take the 1v1, but he misses the mark, and after he misses the mark on that Luna could not fly no more.
I thought that was actually the opening for the side of Nova, where
yes, exactly,
where Amushi got actually the triple kill on this long. It's really a hard game for the long. Plus also CY. That was a problematic game for the Luna for sure. You have Ogran, who is so buffed with the power of spike. You have all of the stunts. You have the box from the Mozi. You can't really do anything unless you have the set sail, which is actually for me the difference, kind of like the difference maker for this game. But TT Global, they were prepared. Every time they see that set sail icon, okay, get ready to defend.
You know what? Like TT Global, they knew they didn't have to initiate. You just needed to just flank, just prepare, and then just be ready just to take on the battle. Find CY, eliminate him from the map, and then after that, there was no option for Nova Esports.
I'm liking the drafts from TT here. They are very pointed, right? They have a clear mission in mind. Game 1, while they did not win, they had a very clear siege composition. Game 2 here, this is another textbook catch composition here. Hoyi is able to fire those arrows. Once they connect, she reels them into the Ogren to go ahead and execute. I love these drafts from TT.
Yeah, the combos in there are just amazingly done, amazingly orchestrated. As we can see right now, the bans and picks, it's going to be already pretty painful for both teams. None of them has a clear advantage. Some strong heroes already has been used for Nova Esports. They're gonna need that Luna in the future. They do need that Luna. They wanted to take the dub in here using that Luna and that long. But then, well, life is like that sometimes. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. TT Global was not going to allow them to take a 4-0. In no way they were going to allow that. But, well, it was an amazing first game. Like, game 1 gave us what for me has been the spotlight, like the biggest highlight of this whole KWC 2025. And it was that fight from Nova Esports. The way that they took on that fight over there in Clash Lane, for me it was an amazing. It's going to be carved in the memories and in the history of KWC 2025. What about if Phil just breaks it down for us, Phil? I know that you were analyzing it. You've got already the tech right over there set up, and we want just to break it down for everyone at home to see exactly what happened in that place.
Thank you, Isaac. Check out the sweet tech they gave me here. So now we can go ahead and break down this fight here. And this is a pivotal fight. This ensured that Nova had that lead throughout the whole game, and Nova is good to never give that lead back up. It first starts with this catch on Sunrise here. Sunrise is caught in a bad spot, gets ran down by 3 people here. Flash unending star lands on him, and then he's down. But here, look at this.
That's key. That's key moment in there. Key.
And instantly, Waypit resets that ultimate. So now Wendy, still has the ultimate available. No fear at all. They can keep pushing forward. As we push forward here, the team is already set up. Look at this. We see CY coming in from this angle. Xuan is getting ready to jump the wall right here. And Wendy's going in this way. They are boxed in. There's nowhere for them to go.
The box of death in there, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. As we see here now everything's coming into play. Masashi's duel to deaths in. Beautiful ultimate there from Guan Yu. Shoves them all into the wall, but he's not done yet. Look at this.
One more time.
He pushes them into the blender that is Wendy here, and then they get blended up for sure.
You can see Ching just kind of just looking at everyone and being like, you know what? I'm out. I'm out. I'm getting out of here. He goes out of that. That for me has been the most beautifully orchestrated play from Nova Esports in this whole KWC 2025. Great break, Phil. That was actually really nice, man. That was very detailed. I like that.
That was amazing. That was amazing,
I try.
On that reset. You're very tech savvy. Of course.
It took me like an hour to learn how to use
it. That is so nice.
Oh gosh, that is so funny. Ladies and gentlemen, right now we're going to move into Game 3. Game 3 is going to be the tiebreaker. Right now it's 1-1. And now Nova Esports, they need to don't let this last loss just take control of the game. It is totally fine. Like, it's totally fine if you lost one. It's totally fine if you lose the second one. But losing 2 in a row, that might not be the kind of motivation that they need, right?
Yeah, it's now a best of 5 if we're gonna think about it. But then again, we're losing 10 heroes in total because again, you cannot, we're on a global ban system. But I do feel, we're talking about it earlier, for the play style of TT Global, I think their lineup for game number 1 is quite similar to the lineup for game number 2, but this time they have early game damage. Unlike game number 1, all they have is the sustain. Let's play it slowly. We have the Agudo. We can take objectives after objectives, but this time it's still kind of like a 4 protect 1 because again they have a She on the mid lane. But this time for level 1 up to level 3, they can put in the punch. They can pull out an uppercut. And with that being said, Team Nova needs to get ready once again for the reset.
In a very good TT Global fashion, they came in and then you start dealing punches early in the game, right?
I think this game we're seeing more of what they're known for, right? They're reaching into their bag of tricks, and they have a big bag of tricks here. And now they're going to use it here, and they're going to start executing it. And if they keep switching these up, it's going to be hard for Nova to adapt to.
Both teams have been working really well on those junglers. For me, the junglers have had control of the games in here. On the side of CY, for him, was not the best performance, and I think that that's what gave a little bit of an advantage or TT Global in this game.
I think both junglers are pivotal to how the pace of the game goes. We've seen that first game, right? Who got caught first? Sunrise. And because of that, the team kind of collapsed. But it's kind of like the opposite here in the second game, right? CY couldn't quite hang, you know? So it's kind of like 50-50 right now, 1-1.
Yeah, he got countered like big time in this game. They showed the Luna early, and that's very commendable for the side of TT Global on countering the Luna and having an answer to the long infinite vastness. I should say that I want to see the sides here, because again I was talking about, okay, they're not gonna give away the Dharma. They didn't ban it, but they took it.
Yes, exactly.
For their own.
They did not ban it, but then they just decided to take that because they knew that just allowing the Luna out there, it was too big a temptation for Nova Esports, and they needed to get their hands on that.
Absolutely. I would say TT Global are masters of draft. It's not just about getting the heroes you want. It's about setting the bait. They set the bait. They let Nova get the Luna, right?
Yeah.
But they were ready for it. They wanted them to get the Luna, and they drafted around all these counter picks and made it so Luna wasn't even that strong.
Yeah. No moves for CY here. And with this being said, now is the real game. Now is the real game. Both of these teams, they need to get their hands dirty. I'm so excited. I expect that Nova still got this because in terms of team fight, they're a really great team.
Of course.
They're a really great team. They can go toe-to-toe. But in macro, we can feel that TT Global has it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In terms of macro, TT Global has a lot more experience, I would say. And that experience in these moments where decisions need to be made in seconds, in nanoseconds sometimes, it comes down just to the element of experience and the element of the instinct inside of those players.
I think TT Global, as I mentioned, I call them a bag of tricks, right? Really, they have so much knowledge about the game. So they can apply all these formulas that they've already studied up. Oh, this is a good timing to, invade here. This is a good time to invade there. So I'd say the plan for Nova is go ahead and make them adapt. Make them think on the fly. Don't let them read from the textbook.
All right. The game 3 is going to start. TT Global is going to be taking the blue side. Nova Esports is going to be taking the red. All of those questions, the answers are going to be brought to you by Saggy and Blam.
There we go. We got blended together. We are now Sam. We are one together. Thank you, Isaac. It's been a while. We've been waiting for that marriage between us both, but now we are back onto game number 3. Nova Esports against TT Global. TT Global being over on the Royal Blue side and then looking to give over that Clash lane pick.
Ooh, Mayin being locked in here for the side of TT's Ching here. Definitely a very solid playmaking pick here. We saw from last game, he was everywhere on his Dharma.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, definitely seems to be a little bit of like a war between Xuan and Ching, right? Like, they are always going at it. They're always looking to get those picks up on these two players. But Liang and the Ogryn here, so CY is like, hey, I really liked how Sunrise played that in game number 2, so I'm going to give it a go for myself.
He's definitely going for the goal for himself here as the counter pick here. The Lady Zen has been locked in here. Okay, we think about Ogryn. He likes to move around the battlefield. He likes to engage on the multiple members here. What better way of stopping him than the Lady Zen?
Exactly, yeah. That Destructive Deluge is definitely one to watch out for. I mean, a lot of people always underestimate the damage output of the Lady Gen, but when you see those, like, post-game analytics and you see, like, 100k, 120k damage come through from this pick. It's pretty wild. But speaking of wild, we might be getting a bit of a wild ride, a little bit of a wild treat here. The Xuan is able to get that Byron.
Exactly, Byron be locked in here for the side of Nova Esports here. A very strong and conventional pick here that can sustain the lane and win the lane against the likes of the Mayin here. So a very good pickup here coming in from Nova Esports. But think about it. Nova Esports has already expended two very expensive marksman picks, being the Arlie and the Long here. So the marksman pool, the farm lane pool is going to be growing shorter, smaller as the draft goes on.
It is going to get smaller and shorter, right? I mean, Muchi is definitely one of those players onto the side of Nova Esports where they really want to kind of try and funnel in their pick within the early parts of the draft. But Lady Soon here getting banned out as well, so there's no Ollie, no Lung, no Lady Soon. So maybe a D-Ranger here.
Maybe a D-Ranger here, or maybe a Channel here will be picked up on the side of Muchi here. Yet again, red side, 3 marksman bans onto the side of Snowy here. Snowy, that game onto Ho Yi here, he definitely gained back the confidence that he needed here. So right now, 1-1 in the scorelines for both teams here. Things are looking hot.
Things are looking hot, and there it is going to be the Marco Polo here. So we're going to get those Fever Barrages, that splendid revolver, onto the Gorge. But I mean, it's going to be doing good against Monkey, right? Obviously, true damage procced from his passive means that he's going to be able to shred through Monkey. Because Monkey, as we know, you need that constant damage. You can't just kind of just like tap, 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 tap and hope that it's going to get run down. You really need to lay that damage on thick if you're going to think of taking down Sunrise on the Monkey.
And that's super well said here. What better way of melting a tank that is Monkey with using Marco Polo here. With the Doomsday, with the Spark Swords here, so much mixed damage here. 3 sources, physical, magic, true damage here. But a Garo being locked in here from the side of Snowy here. And to add on to that, Zhang Fei onto the hands of Joy here has been locked in as well here. A very strong protect the Garo team comp.
Yeah, so Garo actually only been played once within the KWC till this point, but has that 100% win rate. So obviously, there's a lot of shielding over to the side of Nova Esports. And what's the one good thing that Garo does, Sagi?
You shred enemies with shield extremely well. You do extra damage towards shielded units here. And if you look towards the side of Nova Esports, you're thinking, Ogren, it goes the Blood Rager, that's a shield. Byron, innate shielding here, that's a shield as well here. So, for the side of Nova Esports here, if you want to counter the range that Garo provides here, what better way of doing it than the Ziya?
Yeah, exactly. So for those, obviously, that play ranked games and have never actually tried to touch the Garo, and you thought that you picked it and it's not come through as well as you hoped for, right? That is the team comp you want to be going against. A very shield-heavy team comp, which, for the side of Nova Esports, could be a problem here. If they can't lock onto the Garo, I mean, that's going to be a hard team fight for them.
I have to agree with you, Bland, because the only backline access coming in from the side of Nova Esports, it's only Byron on the hands of Strand here. If Strand does not get the backline access, the engage Flash Storm Strike onto the side of the marksman known as Snowy, things are going to look ugly for the side of Nova Esports.
Yeah, but what's not going to be ugly is this game number 3, right? I mean, both of these teams now have a point on the board. And speaking of being on the board, let's have a little bit more of a dive onto these team comps, right? Like, winning conditions. What are we thinking here, Sagi?
Definitely on the side of TT Global here, we're looking at Snowy, making sure that he stays safe towards the later stages of the game. And Ching onto this Marine to make big plays here. On the side of Nova here, one jump, catch Snowy, and it is done.
It is done indeed, but can they live up to the test? Only time will tell. Amazon Arena, those watching at home, let's get into game number 3.
Game number 3 between TT Global versus Nova Esports. A stalemate 1-1 in terms of the scoreline right now. Who will come out on top in this game 3, Blam?
Exactly that, but I mean, like I just said, only time will tell. But CY here, obviously, not quite playing as aggressive as we saw for Sunrise in game number 2. Obviously, trying to invade onto that Azure Golem, right?
Exactly the case, and that's the thing. If you play in an assassin jungle, you're going to be seeing some form of jungle rotation coming in to invade you, as assassin jungles are extremely weak in the early phase. Hence, Sunrise on the Monkey is still considered safe in this matchup.
I mean, this is a little bit of a problem here for the side of Nova Esports, right? Like, TT Global Snowy here, he's just kind of been given this free objective, free resources come through. I mean, we know that the Garo is a late game hero, right? But you don't want to be given over more resources than you need to.
I have to agree with you, but you gotta remember, Garo, although she is not so mobile here, she has that added range in the laning phase here, and Muchi on the Marco Polo. It is not the strongest hero in the early game here, hence the focus coming in from Nova Esports will be playing towards Shren onto the Clash side, which is more strong in the early game.
Yeah, more strong in the early game. Obviously, going back to a little bit of that vanilla mix-up there. We do get a double knock-up here on the side of Nova Esports. We see that Sunrise tries to go in, but we're going to just get that wave clear from the Suya pick.
Yeah, the Suya pick here I'm really in love with that pick here because so much danger, but hang on a moment though as Sunrise gets poked down slightly a bit from Nova Esports, but it's just a handshake here, buddy.
It is just a handshake. It's a little bit of playing coy, right? They just want to get a little bit of mental games come through here for the side of onto TT Global because Nova Esports, yes, they had a great game number 1. Shaky game number 2, we have to say. If we're being absolutely realistic, very shaky. But for TT Global, they were very dominant, especially this 1v1 here up at the top side of the Clash lane is between Jing and Xuan here, but we are getting rotations. Crane's like, nah, I can't let my Clash lane fall this early.
Exactly. If you can mitigate the Byron's early game here, especially securing all these River Sprites towards the Clash lane here, you're winning so much, especially this Byron pick doesn't scale the best towards the early game here. So we gotta see if Shren is able to pull up crazy engages, pull the lead for Nova Esports towards the mid game.
Yeah, I mean, you can already see here for the side of Nova Esports, they're getting Wendy, they're getting Wave Pit to kind of just like chauffeur around CY within the jungle, just completely clean up and quicken that wave, the jungle clear, right? So Nova are obviously expanding quite a lot of resources in their lane.
I have to agree with you, but one good news for Nova Esports fan. Snowy's flash has been exhausted to escape from the gank coming in from Wendy here. So that's a 2-minute cooldown common spell here. He will not have the flash coming in for this Tyrant fight.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Garo is probably not going to be very much situated beyond, obviously, that fight there. We're more likely going to be seen maybe mid, as well as obviously Sunrise trying to go and take that by themselves. But ultimately, Nova Esports, something that they didn't have in game number 2 is that gold lead, and now it's just been nullified, right? We just saw that flicker from 9.8k to 10.3k. It just came out of nowhere.
It just came out of nowhere indeed, but that's the thing about Honor of Kings here. Without big fights, without big objectives here, the gold lead will always stay stagnant between these two teams here. However, let's jump back into the Suya pick for a bit here. Yep. It at least covers some form of late game insurance that Nova Esports require, as we know for a fact that the passive sanctification coming in from Wendy can level someone over level 15.
Yeah, exactly. It gives them obviously additional bonus attributes as well, depending on which hero they lock it onto. But we can already see here, formulating a potential fight for the Tyrant CY starting off. Make sure he doesn't have to get it reset, but actually the provoke comes onto the side of TT Global. The unbridled outburst into the backline means Wendy gets caught out, but also Xuan trying to keep his teammates alive gets taken down by Snowy. Oh!
Joy! Crucial unbridled outburst catches 2 and Shren left to dry by the team here. This is what we talked about. TT Global coming in from the KPL region, the A.C.L. champions. The way they formulate a team fight is so beautiful.
So beautiful, so clean, but we were saying that, right? Obviously, the win condition for Nova Esports is trying to pick off Snowy, and that's exactly what Xuan was trying to do here. Obviously, into the back line, but was caught up by Jing. And then he's just kind of like tatered for and tit for tat, and then Garo, Snowy just able to just keep that damage going on thick and thin.
Everyone on the side of TT Global here did their job so well here. King was single-handedly making sure that Shren was on lockdown patrol, making sure that Shren will not have access to Snowy there. On the side of Joy, his unbridled outburst was so clean, it gave direct access for Sunrise towards the backline of Nova Esports.
Yeah, I mean, if we just, obviously, we had that big team fight, but if we look at the overall objectives that were procured by TT Global with that one, they got 2 T1s, they got the Tyrant as well, so that's now put them in a steady lead for that gold lead.
Oh yeah, and look at Snowy here. He's just having a time of his life here. So much gold being funneled to his pocket, so much protection coming in from TT Global here. And I gotta say, Nova Esports draft, yes, you have the late game Ziliak here, cool. But your DPS is not as strong as Snowy onto this Garo here. If this Garo gets so much protection, your late game, what are you going to do Nova Esports?
Yeah, it's going to be hard for them, right? I mean, like we said, we already saw the little pretty much precurement of the team fights, right? We saw that Schwan was trying to go in on Snowy but wasn't successful. We're going to be seeing a lot more of that as we go into the rest of this game number 3. But right now, TT Global's like, hey, we've got your T1 in mid lane, we've got your T2 down to the bottom side of the map. That is your golem's looking pretty tasty. Let me try and take that from you.
Let me try to take that from you as the fight breaks up open, but the Dream Roam doesn't connect. Sven goes to the back line, gets taken down almost immediately.
Yeah, almost immediately. We got the Unbridled Outburst as well as the Dream Roam both being committed there. It was definitely what they needed for the side of TT Global to just pry open the side of Nova Esports. But speaking of prying, we are prying open in the T2 here as well.
TT Global, buff, towers, kills. They are just straight on top of this game right now. They are no longer fearless. They are right now so strong into this game.
Very strong into the game, and as well, props to TT Global as well. Like, they, in terms of progress, in game number 1, they barely got any kills. Game number 2, they dominated with the kills. And game number 3, they're like, you know what, Nova, we're paying you back from that game number 1. We want to make sure that you get 0 kills on the board until towards the latter part of the game.
They're definitely looking extremely clean right now. All members are active and performing on towards the game tree of the series right now. If you talk about Nova, man, we have still yet to see a proper engage come in from the side of Wavefist Power Control. Where is the ultimate that we need for Nova fans?
This is it, right? I mean, maybe they are going in like a fashion of a supernova, right? Like, it's gonna burn bright, it's gonna be very powerful to begin with, but then over time, it's just gonna get a little bit more kind of decreased in power. And we're kind of seeing that in this game number 3, because you keep saying, Sagi, we have that late game cash out here for the side of Nova Esports, but will we get to the late game?
I would say it's definitely going to be hard, because right now, look at Snowy just casually taking down the turret health here coming in from Nova Esports tier 3 here. It's just 8 minutes, guys. Come on.
8 minutes, and they're at the T3s. They've got to be careful here for the side of Nova Esports, but I can imagine in the stadium, at home, the TT Global fans are rejoiced. They're like, oh, they've taken one game from us, but that's it. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. And TT Global, they're up online right now. Hands are hot and warm. You can definitely see they are much more confident coming into game 2, coming to game 3 right now, because this is an insurmountable lead right now. 8 minutes, 5,000 gold lead in the pockets of TT Global.
But yeah, plenty of gold going up the side of TT Global right now, and they're just looking to try and just gain some more as they take that T2 up the top side of the map, looking to put some pressure here onto Nova Esports. Wendy having to exhaust the flash because the destructive delusion almost caught him out.
Exactly, and look at the top tier 3 here. So much pressure coming in from the Garo here. So much protection from this Garo here. Tower after tower going down. Pre-10 minutes right now. Where is the engage? There is no line sight of engage coming in from Nova Esports because it's unpractical.
It's unpractical, but I mean, you saw that within that team fight, right? You saw that Schwan was going towards the border of those T3s. He was trying to get on top of Snowy, but Crane was just like, if you're going to go and die for anybody, I'm going to make sure I'm here. I'm going to make sure I take that hit because we need Snowy in these fights.
And that is what TT Global is doing so good. Protecting Snowy. It is Captain Snowy and TT Global here. I want to commend and praise KPL teams like TT Global. The way they formulate team fights, the way of their positioning, is just so clean here. And look, you give them 2 kills here, 3 kills. It's not even like any form of 10 kills, 16 kills like game 1. Look at the goalie. 5K, 6K, slowly pushing towards every single possible potential they have. And right now, they are just controlling the game within their grasp.
They are controlling on all fronts, right? I mean, kills doesn't really mean much here because obviously we're playing against some of the best of the best, right? But it's all about those objectives when you do get those pickups. But Schwan here does not want to get picked off here. We get a lot of damage coming from the Suya into the back line. But there is Jing onto Wavepit. Tries to get the double knockup. Moochie goes down already. Wavepit's not looking too good. He gets taken down as well. Jing from the back line. Schwan having to force a flash out. And also CY with the Papa pass in. They are playing defensively.
Snowy's reaction time was so damn fast. Moochie went in for the fervent barrage, wanting to catch up Snowy. He reacted immediately, and look at the final push here coming in from TT Global.
Dream Roam onto the backline, putting pressure onto Wendy. It's going to be game 3. Crystal takedown for TT Global.
6 2-0 clean game coming in from TT Global. No sweat, easy game as they pick up the second win, bringing the series to a 2-1.
2-1 right now for the side of TT Global. They were like, hey, you had game number 1, but we come back with the boom, boom, pow of the 2-1 victory at this point in the game. Still, potentially quite a few games on the board here if Supernova come back to their prior game number 1 form. But right now, TT Global looking very, very dominant.
Very, very dominant, very, very hot onto the Heroes Gorge. I gotta say, praises have to be given towards Jota, the coach of TT Global, because to really make your team come back after such a devastating Game 1 loss, making sure they come back on form here is not an easy feature. And coach from TT Global definitely is doing an exceptionally good job.
An amazing job. An amazing job for the side of TT Global's coach here. But look at Snowy, man. Snowy was just so dominant in this game. And like you were saying there, towards the end, Sagi, his positioning, his reactions were inhuman.
It was indeed inhuman here. That's why Snowy is crowned one of the best farm lanes coming in from the KPL region. Very young, so much potential here. And look at his positioning here. Always making sure that he has defensive positioning, making sure that he's always alive here. But man, let's pass it over to the analyst desk to see what they have to say about this series.
Take it away.
Thank you very much, Sam. That is Sagi and Blam. For all of those that are just burning me about that. Thank you very much to TT Global as well. The 2-1 advantage right now after that very dominating performance, right? Like they came in and they just had a timer in there. They said like, you know what? We don't like all that commenting that these people are having right now, saying that we did not have a good game in that Game 1. So they're coming in and they're showing what they're actually made of. I'm telling you that Game 3, it doesn't get faster than that. 10 minutes, boom, direct push.
They absolutely switch gears, like my friend Manjin here would say here. These two games are kind of a different beast. This kind of is the different beast, but it's what we know from TT Global, right? Game 1 is actually the game where they were a little bit unorthodox. Maybe they were feeling out Nova, you know, Game 1. Wasn't really sure what's going on, but now this is the TT Global that, you know, we know.
Of course.
Like they brought like a strategy, a game, plan A strategy that maybe we can kind of hold back. But no, they saw that how Nova is as a team and they're now paying respect. They picked up a great Garo type of composition.
And that's the thing about that Garo pick, right?
Yeah, like, you can't really reach the Garo up until the late game point. There's no way. There's no kill threat.
There was no option that Nova could actually just flank around, find the Garo and get rid of it. And if you cannot get rid of the Garo, it just snowballs so quickly. And it can destroy shield and it can just go through. What are you expecting to do? There was no opening in there. An amazing BP for TT Global.
What I love about TT is, as I mentioned, you know, about the Zhang Yu pick yesterday, right? They know when to hold back. They know when they have enough firepower, and it's like, okay, let's take, I don't want to say like a bad pick, but like, you know, a lower tier pick. Of course, build around it, right? And use this efficient draft and get win of it.
You cannot expect just to get just top priority picks every single game. Because you know that this is not going to be a 4-0. And if it is not going to be a 4-0 and you take all these prior picks and then you lose some games in there, that puts you in a horrible position for Game 5 or even Game 6.
Absolutely.
That is what I like about HOK. You can definitely use all of the heroes in your pool with the proper composition and the proper strategy to do it. That's why I want to learn from TT Global. I'm going to use this for sure in my 5-man rank games. The range, they played with the range game. Look at this. You have the Garo here. I can definitely say that Nova has the potential reach, right? You have the Marco Polo, you have the Ogran, still you have the Byron. But TT Global, for the first few moments of the early game, they tried their best to block every flank that Shuan was trying to do, that Sai was trying to do, blocking the path of passing, plus the Zhang Fei ultimate. Right after that mid-game Zhang Fei outburst, it was all TT Global.
When you start analyzing just the beginning of the game, that Byron pick has been a very crucial one, very meta here in this KWC 2025, right? And that Byron pick, what was the strat for TT Global? Well, let's just try to slow down the Byron, don't allow him to start snowballing, and then when they knew that Byron did not have the advantage, there was no way that he would dare even to try to jump onto the Gyro.
I think Nova went ahead and just picked up the Byron as like a safe blind pick, right? And to remove it from the enemy. They didn't really make a composition that required Byron's early game strength.
Of course.
We always mention Pei Byron. Why do we mention that? Because they combo so well together. They're able to invade together and, steamroll the early game. Nova seems like they kind of just played Byron more as the tank, more as like a placeholder there, so he didn't really get the chance to shine.
A lot of questions just being put right now, and that we are really hoping that everyone at home can do a little bit of research and you can go and learn a little bit more about the heroes. Right now it's a 2-1 advantage for TT Global. We're going to go to a little break, and then when we come back, we're going to come back to game number 4.
Reach your impossible. Lenovo Legion.
The human body was built to move, not trapped at a desk in one singular posture for 12 hours a day. It's time your chair evolved. This is Secret Lab Titan Evo. Ergonomically engineered for you, gamers, hybrid workers, artists, backing your every move.
Boys, that turned around real quick.
Yeah.
Nova Esports got it at the beginning in the first game, but then after that, just 2 games, all TT Global.
TT Global definitely feeling themselves now, doing the things they're known for, right?
Yeah.
They, I can't think of a better way of saying this. They suffocate their opponents.
Yeah.
They go in their jungles, they remove all of their options here,
Yes.
and they just don't let them play the game.
And man, that was 6-0. That was love set for sure for TT Global. And now they're in their A game for sure. I would like to commend the Snowy, for example, on this Garo, just making sure he is seeing the Ogren He is seeing the Byron. Take notes, ladies and gentlemen. If you're gonna play the Garo or maybe some type of marksman, always in the back line, maybe at the Gen.G, make sure you always see the initiator of the opposing team.
They understood their winning condition, right?
Yeah.
Like they knew that as long as that they let that Garo just keep growing and growing and growing, there was no way for them to actually turn it around. Well, TT Global and Nova Esports Game 4 is going to start right now. TT Global taking the blue, Nova Esports taking the red. Blam, Saggy, you guys can take it from here.
Isaac, thank you for the Passover. We are now separated entities once again. And which isn't separated entities is TT Global and Nova Esports. Yes, within this best of 7. We're getting into game number 4. So still not quite match point. Still not quite match point. Still enough place for room to breathe for Nova Esports.
That is indeed the case, but coming in from last 2 victories coming in from TT Global here, I gotta say, they definitely woke up after game 1 and they were looking strong and dominant here. Starting with the bans, we are already seeing Dharma, Fatih being banned out for the side of TT Global here, further restricting Strength, who had a pretty good game in game 1.
Yeah, Shuen is just kind of just like, he's like, come on guys, just give me a Dharma, just give me a Fatih, please, just give me anything, because at this point of the game, he's already used, obviously, the Guan Yu, he's already used the Byron as well. I mean, it's coming, and the Sunset as well. It's coming a little bit like, what can I go for? What can I go for? But onto the side of TT Global, they are going to do what Nova did in game number 2. They're going to lock in the Lung Prio blue pick here.
Indeed, that is the case here. Long has been locked in for TT Global here. We mentioned this pick many times before. You have such a strong burst here coming from this hero here. They still have the direction of going for the Long Dolia combo that we've seen that has been performed exceptionally well so far. For Nova Esports here, do they go for Wendy's Maestro Nui here?
They could potentially do that, right? I mean, Pay's on the board as well if they really wanted to. So there it is. It's going to be the Maestro Nui and the Main as well. So if the side of TT Global do try and kind of go all in on an all-in comp and need to get out, Chuan here on the Mayin could be the answer that Nova Esports needs.
But TT Global, they still have the Dolia and Yuan here. The double bailout is exceptionally good when fighting against the Maestro Nui and Mayin here. So that is going to be one of the Yuan being picked up for the side of TT Global here. But man, if you're a Maestro Nui into a Yuan and Long here, you gotta be exceptionally good with the chain CC to be able to lock them down.
Exceptionally good, right? I mean, the sustainability from obviously Huan as well as Charlotte. Charlotte has her own HP regen, right? Whereas obviously Lung, yes, he obviously does have it with obviously one of his blades, but Huan is going to be a great assistance here, and it's a nice part of the draft, right? Like, it's the second pick. This could be mid, this could be roam, but over to the side of Nova Esports, they get a little bit more sustainability for themselves, right? In the form of the Agudo.
In the form of the Agudo, making sure that the early jungle tempo will be in control of CY in this game 4 here. So, moving on to the latest stages of the pick and ban here. We see more junglers and more farm laners being banned out for both teams here.
Yes, I mean, it's just basically a Muchi and a Shuan ban phase, right? Like, they're banning out clash lanes, they're banning out farm lanes. I mean, realistically, we could potentially go for the lady soon here if you really wanted to, right? Try and get a bit of poke onto the Lung, but they're going to need some kind of late game insurance, right?
I have to agree with you. Nova Esports right now, the first 3 picks here, they are exceptionally well from the early towards the mid game, in small skirmishes to mid-scale team fights, but they need a strong late game damage output, potentially like the Channel, potentially like the Garo that we saw from Snowy last game here. So Nova Esports definitely have to make a decision here, because if you pick something with very little mobility, you're gonna see a Charlotte right towards your face.
A Charlotte to your face is definitely not what you want to get, right? But that is the Chano of game number 1 that TT Global picked up there to try and be the answer to Muchi's Ali. Is now going to come through here for the side of Nova Esports. So not only will they have the critters of the Gudo, they're going to have the Spirit Wolves as well. So that's quite a lot of adds onto the side of Nova Esports in terms of damage.
I am loving this Channel pick exactly here, because one thing's for sure, Channel has a very good laning phase against the Long, scales exceptionally well, and solves the late game issue that Nova Esports needs to have here. But can they realistically protect the Channel against the Charlotte here, and potentially the further picks here that coming in from TT Global?
Yeah, I mean, they're looking for the jungle still at least, right, onto the side of TT Global. The Jing, the Luna been taken off here. TT Global could go for a pay if they really wanted to, but no, they're going to answer in return with the Musashi and the Taiyan, which is a pick that we haven't had yet within the entire of the KWC.
So much healing here coming in from TT Global here, and one thing's for sure here, Mai Shiranui is not a good hero to be building the Venomous stuff here. Yes, you can build it, but applying it and delaying your burst potential, that is a big draft advantage here coming in from TT's Global's Giant, and you won.
Exactly that, right? I mean, there's a lot of healing going from there, and then obviously to the likes of the Musashi as well. He's going to kind of cut down that healing reduction if he goes in with the ultimate. So not only do they have the Diane, they have the Hue 1 as well, but more importantly, Charlotte is obviously going to be a great kind of engage mechanic here onto the side of TT Global, right? Go in, try and get that massive CC knockup with the ultimate, and then that's when we start to see the roll through, where we can kind of see Snowy come in with the Flaming Palms, use the Infinite Vastness for a little bit of a readjustment with onto the Gorge, but hey, this is the drafts locked in, and we are going to be getting into game number 4 very soon, Sagi.
Game number 4. Is this the road for TT Global towards their match point here, or will Nova Esports, our Supernova, come in clutch and make the series back to a 2-2 here, Blam?
They're going to try something, right? They're definitely going to try something here. But like he was saying, obviously, in terms of Nova Esports draft, they kind of have to have that early game aggression because of the Igudo, right? Like, they need to try and get that onto the board. But they do now have the late game insurance as well, which is going to be the Chano. But like game number 1, we saw a big abuse onto that Chano pick, right?
I have to agree with you. That game number 1 was really a big abuse here. But gotta say here, coming in from game number 4 here, the priority in terms of the engager does stem from the Musashi and the Charlotte here. That backline dive potential is so strong coming in from the side of TT Global here. Can the channel survive? Only Nova Esports could tell us, because they really need to make sure that this channel has a safe space to survive.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of safe spaces here, Diadea could be the answer, right? I mean, if we try and get a dive in onto the backline, we try and use those enhanced basic attacks to try and just kind of like halt the stop of TT Global. But what's not going to stop here is going to be the introduction onto the Gorge for game number 4 between TT Global and Nova Esports.
The games, the hands are all warm and hot right now. These two teams, we will see one of them go to the grand finals, but right now, TT Global, they are at advantage 2-1 in terms of the current scoreline.
Yeah, well, I mean, we always talk about momentum, right, within esports, especially with Honor of Kings as well, is that once the teams that gain that momentum, it's very scary. You're not playing against the same team that had no wins on the board.
I have to agree with you. Momentum is key here, and one more thing that is super important for these esports teams, these Honor of Kings pro players, it's definitely the mental state here. Being able to survive under so much pressure in such a big stage in KWC 2025.
Yeah, it is a lot of pressure, right? I mean, we already saw that TT Global said, hey, Nova Esports plays fearlessly on stage, and we saw that in game number 1 that they were able to attain that fearless stature that TT Global gave to the side of Nova Esports. But right now, they're kind of like, right, we need to play these team fights a little bit more better. We need to make sure we're finding the right angles. The positioning here for Muchi in these team fights is going to be crucial.
That is the importance coming to the series, right? Can Nova Esports continue their insane growth that we've seen from the past year towards this upcoming series here? Because game 1 was splendid, but game 2 and game 3 here, TT Global really clawed the game back in such a clean fashion here. It was not close at all.
Not close at all, right? I mean, definitely, to the dividends of Nova Esports, game number 1 wasn't close at all either, even though they were able to get that win onto the board. So it seems to be a bit of a recurring tradition here between these two teams, right, is that they aren't looking for those close victories. They are looking for those stomps.
The stomps, the absolute dominations here. So we gotta see how Nova Esports progresses this game number 4 here. It's gonna be exceptionally important for them, because one more lose and they will put themselves in a very stressful spot in having to claw 3 more games back into the series here. But right now, key player here coming in from Nova Esports in the early to mid phase gotta be Shren, CY, and Wendy.
Yeah, they're going to be the main components, right? They've got to look for that kind of like solid trio to try and get these team fights to go in their favor, right? I mean, Wendy on the Maishurinui, known for his fantastic engages that he can do and can pick up here. But speaking of a bit of an engage, we are seeing a Jing as well going up against Juan up at the top side of the map, just trying to get a little bit damage, a little bit poke and prod here, trying to just create some pressure.
Yep, you have to fight for pressure if you are both jungle players here. Look at Sada Sunrise here, trying to steal away the boards, but it's not successful in doing so. Right now, this early game is very 50-50 from both teams here as Muchi pops the ultimate to chunk Snowy out of the lane.
Yeah, the bolting shot there is going to do quite a bit of damage to Snowy, but he's not going to be too bothered, right? He's level 5, he has the infinite vastness, so it's going to be okay for him. If they do try and go for the dive here, he still has his ultimate. He's going to have that healing from Joy on the Dian.
Yep, that's the nice thing about picking a tie-in, right? You scale exceptionally well towards the later stages of the game because the more magic damage you build, the more healing you can provide towards your team here. So that's another ticking time bomb that Nova Esports have to figure out and defuse.
Yeah, speaking of ticking time bombs, we are getting very close to those neutral objectives, spawning at around about 22 seconds. So that is going to be the next boom that could potentially go off here, right? We saw it in the previous game, where we saw the team fight around that neutral objective did go over to the favor of TT Global, and were able to pick up a first blood prior to that whole shenanigans, right? And not only that, they got the takedown of the T1 in the mid lane as well.
Exactly, and 4 minutes has hit right now. Some spells has been expended from both teams here, but look at Sunrise though. Will he catch Wave Pit roaming around? Because this Tyrant has been started up as we see. 10 players converging onto this objective as CY gets engaged on.
Oh, the duel to the death committed onto CY is not going to be great. The healing reduction come through, and Wave Pit is trying to be on the run here. Double kill going over to Sunrise as they're looking to get some more kills here onto the board. Triple kill. He's trying to pay back that almost quad that Nova got in game number 1.
Sunrise has seen the sun and he is sparkling clean right now. That was an insane solo performance there. Check out the replay real quick. He started off the Tyrant and he single-handedly dove onto CY here, making CY the first target here. Subsequently, he was just going for the resets onto extreme speed, taking down more and more enemy teams here. By the time that Strand arrived here, it's too little too late. He gets focused down by 5 members of the side of TT Global.
Yeah, too little too late, and obviously, if you are rotating around on the side of Nova Esports, you've got to kind of predict that TT Global are doing that exact same thing, right? I mean, Snowy, he rotated around, he got the damage come through towards that latter part of that team fight and really kind of like toppled the tides there. But once again, what we were seeing there is that they were a fight for 3 kills. We got the takedown of the T1, and as soon as Sunrise got his bloodthirst done, he was like, you know what? I'm going to go get the Tyrant now. And that's exactly what we just saw in the last game.
I have to agree with you. Game 3, like you mentioned, Tyrant, failed team fight. The winners come out on top here. Immediate punishment towards the mid lane tower here. And right now, another healthy 3,000 gold lead for the side of TT Global. Just 6 minutes short of this game.
Yeah, 6 minutes short. They were able to get the T2's bed onto all 3 lanes on the side of Nova Esports right now. When he tried to go in with a bit of an engage, we do see obviously the wall growth come through, trying to give over the healing to the side of Nova Esports. They're able to take down Joy, so a lot of healing, a lot of sustain already off the board here, but Schwan gets taken down. Joy takes down Wendy. That's a 2-1 trade, and if you trade in your support for the mid and the clash lane, I'd take that trade any day, Sagi.
I call that work for the side of TT Global here because one more thing, they're knocking onto the turret right now, and let's see how that happens here. Wendy goes in for the engage here, does not have any mobility to get out, gets duped to the death by the side of Sunrise here, stays alive here. Yes, Strendas gets a kill, but you cannot escape Aftermath.
You can't escape the Aftermath, right? That's definitely a thing that Nova Esports are struggling with here, and you can see here the fans, they are cheering on TT Global after that latest clash. But now TT Global, they are just going back, getting some resources, those main features going over to the likes of Snowy here is that Crimson Golem.
TT Global and AG.AL, these two teams, their masterpiece of team fights are so beautiful to watch. The way they play around the objectives here are always so well thought of and so well processed here. And look at this. Wherever there's a buff, that's an objective, but an engage goes in, but the Infinite Fastest bailout.
Infinite Fastest bailout is going to come back crashing in to try and give aid over to Joy as well as Crane as they get in their health back up there. But right now, definitely not the best team fight there for Nova Esports, right? I mean, they used the ultimate from CY, Muchi, and Wendy.
This goes back to the draft, right? We talked about this. TT Global, they have so much healing coming in from the side of Joy here. However, Joy might be caught out here though as he escapes alive here. Look at Crane's position. They want to go for this fight here, but they are successfully once again zoning Nova Esports from any single available resource.
Yeah, they're just getting that damage out onto Jing, right? Like, they're just making sure that Chuan is not looking his greatest into those team fights, especially onto the Mei Yin, because we know how crucial Mei Yin can be into the backline. And now they can get those double knockups, those triple knockups, which could really upset the pace of TT Global in these team fights. But right now, top takedown of the T2 as well. We see a lot of damage going on to CY, so Agudo got to be careful here as well as Xuan.
And all the health bars are blinking low coming in from the side of Nova Esports here. They cannot be defending this Crimson Golem. And right now, we saw tower buff, and a repeat here goes towards the top side of the map right now. And this goes back to our conversation just now regarding the team composition of TT Global here. Yes, you're Nova Esports, cool. You have all the burst, all the engager, but if you cannot out-damage the heal that's been coming from the likes of Joy on the Cheyenne or Crane onto the Yuan here, you can't win the team fights.
Yeah, I mean, that ride the win there from Snowy was just so great in terms of opening up this team fight for the side of TT Global. Sunrise claiming CY and Wei Pit once again. That's a lot of healing. I mean, potentially the majority of the healing of Nova Esports has been taken down.
Sunrise is so clean onto this Musashi here. He's finding all these multi-man knockups, all these crucial initiates, and right now, 2 members down on the side of Nova Esports as TT Global might look for the end.
TT Global might look for the end here. Wendy looking pretty low. Same as Xuan. He gets hit with the flaming bombs into the backline. It's down to Muchi, but game number 4, Crystal, goes to TT Global.
A swift and clean game once again coming in from TT Global then. Short of 10 minutes. No Shadow variants, no Tyrant, no Overlord. They just brute force their way with superior team fighting prowess.
Yeah, exactly like you said there. They had nothing, right? Like, TT Global, they took the team fights, but they were able to not obviously just wipe out the side of Nova Esports. They were able to get so much more. Like that first team fight where we started to see Sunrise get that triple kill. And then he was like, guys, I'm going to go down to Tyra. You go and take T1. And then that's just where we start to see the fissure just kind of separate these both teams.
Oh yeah, especially giving like gold lead and so much control towards these strong teams from the KPL region. Yep. You're just gonna get punished, choked from all these resources because on the side of Nova Esports, your draft is so early game centric. The Agudo, the Maestro Nui here. If you don't get all these early catches, you are gonna be punished so hard because one thing's for sure, your burst is not enough for the lineup of TT Global.
It's not enough, right? I mean, the burst from the Wendy, burst from Muchi is just going to be one of those hard things here. But speaking of hard things, we're going to speak about the hard truths here onto the side of the analyst desk. Let's take it over to Isaac.
Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much in terms of that. Right now, TT Global 3-1 advantage. It does look like they are right now in a tank. I would never even dare to say that they were in a sports car. Right now, they're in a tank, just kind of just going through. Again, not even 10 minutes, taking that victory.
They were angry. They were angry after game number 1, for sure.
They took it personal.
And they're now holding Nova. They're choking them out, suppressing them in every situation possible. Man, I can't believe we ended in less than 10 minutes. I was actually preparing to eat. I didn't get the order.
I had to run back too.
Yeah. The managers are yelling at me, hey, Manjin, where's your order? Wait, I want to watch the game. And I was like, okay, before I ordered, the game has ended. They don't even need the Overlord or maybe the any buffs whatsoever. This is just clean slate game for the side of TT Global. Don't give them the cleanest first 5 minutes.
I think that the problem in here is that TT Global wants to have statement wins. That's it. They're not going to be okay with just like winning. Every single game is going to have to be domination. They did not like the taste of that game one, for sure.
Absolutely not. They got to make up for that now, because as we mentioned before, there's a lot of pressure to 4-0. That's impossible now. So they're going to try their best to, show that that's what it could have been.
TT Global came into this KWC 2025 with a very clear goal. They want the world to know them. They don't want the world just to say like, oh yeah, AG.AL, AG.AL. No, they want the world to know that TT Global is as well a force to be reckoned. And with these 3 games, the fashion in which they have won those, they're actually achieving that.
Yeah. And I think for sure now there's a factor of intimidation, at least for the side of Nova. You usually see a Mai Shiranui lineup together with a roam tank that can clear in the mid lane for that early rotation. But no, they were forced to come with the channel, and then TT Global punished them with that because, again, the idea was in the bottom side. All of the lanes was a victory for TT Global, and that gave them the victory less than 10 minutes.
I was thinking here, the Mai coming in from Wendy, they noticed that first game, how did they get that win? Wendy got completely out of control.
Yes.
When I saw they drafted a Mai, I'm like, okay, here's Nova's chance. This is kind of their last hurrah. They're using an extremely strong pick here. They're using the Mai. If he can go ahead and get ahead on that Mai, this could be a repeat of game 1. But TT, they had the lineup to completely shut that down. Masashi, duel to the death, could be used on Mai at every single fight if he wanted to, right? They had the Cyan, they had the Sustain, the Wuyan. They never really gave Mai an opportunity to flourish.
You see the Musashi just jumping into the opposition's blue jungle. Comes in, kills everyone, takes everyone away. Look at that, 9 minutes 26 seconds on this game. It was a really a walk in the park for TT Global.
They're in a rush. Super
Absolutely.
quick.
TT, one of those teams that it seems like they felt out their opponents,
Yeah.
Game 1, they felt out opponents. Now they're learning. They're getting stronger. They're getting better. They're winning the games faster,
Yeah.
Because they know what they're up against now. They're like, okay, this is what you're capable of. Okay, got it. We'll do this. We'll counter that out. We'll set up traps in the draft. And they're kind of outsmarting them at every angle now.
Shuan didn't get to play, especially Wendy. He didn't get to play. We have a belief in the PKL, like whoever wins the mid wins the game. And it was, of course, Yuhuan in this game who got the early rotations, going to the bottom side, blocking Wendy's path, blocking the Mai Shiranui's opportunity to get the gank. And with that, they just canceled all of the potential killing opportunities for the side of Nova, and they got it. I'm seeing a pattern here. You don't give them the first 5 minutes of the early game. Maybe for Nova, what they need to do is try to risk it. 50-50, let's go. Let's invade on our own.
Absolutely. I think that could be what they go ahead and do here. They need to find a way to go ahead and get that gold onto their carries, get going, because we know Nova's one of the teams that when they get the momentum, they are extremely good with it. And TT found that out as well too now. So they're not going to give them the momentum. They're playing as safe as possible, not giving them openings to go ahead and secure that. So going forward here, this is looking a little bit grim for Nova. They used a lot of their powerful pieces already, whereas TT Global, I thought of this fun analogy. They're like the responsible, husband there. They invest, they save, right? When they have enough firepower, they go ahead and they pick some of these picks like Garo, that are not quite as Cyan, right? These are not the meta picks we know, and they're saving up and banking the strong picks for later. Whereas Nova, once they get that paycheck, boom, picking the Mai, lock in the strengths, right?
Yeah, cash it all in.
Yep.
Cash it all in because we need to. Because these are the Giants. Come on, let's go.
I love these comparisons, man. I'm really digging this. That's really nice. I'm telling you right now, TT Global is showing us what they were unable to show us in game 1. When you have a little advantage, you go for it. And when you don't have the advantage, just be calm and just be patient. In the game 1, what was different is that Nova Esports were able to just find that little gap. And they found that little gap and they showed us that they've been paying attention because they were very decisive. Found the gap, pushed the whole team through. They pushed the whole team through and then they took the victory. Now, the problem right now is they have not seen any other gap since then.
Absolutely. And I think Nova, we mentioned, with their amazing performance game 1, maybe TT's a bit shell-shocked, right? And they were able to quickly recover from it and absolutely dominate their 3 wins in a row after that. But now Nova is the team that is shell-shocked now. They need to be able to recover from getting 3-0'd.
We need to learn from the pros. That is super important for us. Like, we need to learn how the pros do all of this. We had an opportunity to see Qing over there at the Amazon Arena before the game. So what about if we check on what Qing had to say?
Guys, we are backstage with Qing, the Clash laner of TT Global, and once again, our beautiful host,
Always a pleasure.
Sky. Thank you very much for being here and translating again, Sky. Okay, my first question to you is unique. How does it feel to go back maybe 6 months or a year of patches, you know, to find and play in this meta? It's kind of like going backwards. So how does it feel in playing with this meta right now?
因为 HOK 的版本呢，可能比我们王者荣耀的版本要稍微可能往前面半年或者1年左右的时间。那这样子的一个不同版本的训练，对于你们需要做的一些事情，包括你们的准备，包括是怎么训练的呢？
就是需要重新的磨合新的版本嘛。不过新上这个版本是我们之前也打过的，所以说熟悉起来还是稍微的会轻松一点。
We do need to practice a lot for this meta, but because we used to play this meta once, so we got quite familiar with it. So the learning process is quite fast and efficient.
Oh, beautiful. And just to go with that, a follow-up question, which is a better meta right now? Your current meta in your country or this one that you're playing again?
就对于你来说呢，你觉得你目前在 HOK 的版本，你自己会更加适应呢，还是说我们在 KPL 的时候打的时候你会更适应一些？
我觉得这个版本也挺好玩的，因为边路都很强，所以说这个版本玩起来还是比较的得心应手的。
Okay, so I think they're equally interesting for me, especially for the top lanes, because the top lane heroes are much stronger. So I love to play in my role, and I like this meta very much.
All right. Thank you very much, and congratulations and good luck. Qing, thank you very much, Sky. Back to you guys in the studio.
Qing is loving the meta, and we're loving to see Qing play the heroes in here. He said that the heroes are very strong, but it's not only about the heroes, it's about the coordination of the teams, how they can go for those objectives. I know that Phil caught something very interesting on our previous games, and he wants to show it to us right now, right?
Absolutely. I'm going to bring it up to you guys here now.
Yeah.
I even got the glasses, so I look smart now, too. Right?
Ooh, look at that.
Here we go. Now, the first time we broke down kind of like a flashy, you know, mechanic-style play where they all grouped up and then, you know, pushed them around here. This is a play that you don't see in your traditional ranked games that I want you guys to adapt and put into your games here, all right? Look at this. 3 seconds until the Azure Golem spawns. Look at everyone on TT's side. They are ready for it. They have the Main in the top lane, but everyone else is sized up and ready to go ahead and invade. And let's watch this clip here now. Look at this. Marco Polo gets caught a little bit, forced to go out. And look at this entire team going ahead and setting up for the blue. You might think, you know, it's just Azure Golem, right? It's not for the Azure Golem. Look at the gold lead here. They are up almost 2,000-3,000 gold. When you're ahead, you want to fight, right? So how are they going to force a fight? By going into enemy jungle and saying, either you're going to give this to me or you're going to have to fight me for it. And that's exactly what happens here.
But look at that, like they come in, they force it. Look at the Azure Golem. It was the last thing that they wanted to take.
Absolutely, yeah. While it looked like they wanted the Azure Golem, it was a bait to force the enemy to walk in and fight here. Zhongfei ultimate connects onto here. They turn it into a fight, and the rest is history. Look at this.
Easy. You know, like sometimes it's just like about baiting the other team just to come and fight.
Absolutely.
They can either just decide just to fight or just to give that Azure Golem just for free.
Yeah, I think these are absolutely the things that you cannot really teach a normal rank game player. This is of course the comms that TT Global has, and what I like about it is is right after that Azure Golem, they immediately turned.
Yes,
that was so interesting because they went all in with the Azure Golem, but they know their resources well. What I like about TT Global is they know when their power spike is gonna hit, and with that power spike, they will do like what he said. The responsible father who is going to like cash in the right time, turn in the right time, and TT Global is so good with that.
Sometimes you just need to understand that you cannot defend everything. You cannot win all the fights. You cannot defend everything. I do believe that Nova Esports in that moment should have just said, you know what? This is our goal. We need to let it go. Let's just rotate. Let's mirror the move and do something different. But that's the difference between TT Global and Nova Esports, and that's why we're 3-1 right now.
While, you know, you guys playing at home in your ranked games might not be able to get, you know, as much communication as TT Global here. One thing you can take note of and level up your game at home is what they did, right? They noted the timers of the enemy buffs. It's a great objective to go ahead and go. And you can go there, set up, either steal it, right, if no one's there, or do what TT did and attack the enemy once they come through.
When I see the invade, I was like, okay, what are they targeting? They're targeting all the zone, on that vicinity, on that pit. The Mosey firing, of course. Any stuns. Sorry, there's no Mosey. The Zhang Fei was in the zone just to block all of the potential smite.
To zone them off,
zone them off, just to block the potential smite that Nova can do. And it's really hard to say that to Nova. It's easy to say that Nova should have not contested, you know? But then again, it's really hard to sacrifice.
It's not natural.
It's not natural
to give up something that you think is yours to the enemy, right? So initially, their instinct is to fight it, and that's exactly what TT wants. They want them to fight it.
Sometimes you cannot just bite, right? Like they show it to you, you cannot just bite. And that's important why you need to have those comms on. Like you need to have those 5v5 fights. You need to be playing with your friends. You need to actually just get your mics on. When you have your mics on, then this game completely changes. You coordinate with them, you laugh with them. Sometimes you can get very, very loud, which is great. It's a lot of fun. But you need to just have them comms on so you can actually coordinate this kind of strategies that Phil just brought to us.
Absolutely. I think a great way to mention it there is that play there was kind of a battle of discipline, right? Isaac, you mentioned they should have gone ahead and backed off. They didn't quite have the discipline or the knowledge to understand that, hey, this is not something we should be doing here. And I mentioned it's very natural to want to fight for something that you think is yours. It's yours, your golem, right? Yeah. But you need to have the discipline to be like, hey, you know, we're behind
here. You need to let some things go.
You gotta
need to let some things go.
That's hard.
I kind of feel that TT Global is now playing inside the minds of Nova here. It's easy to say to reset, but Nova, they need to give all their hearts out right now. It's an elimination game. Most likely, if you're a pro player, if you know that the game is already an elimination game, you will definitely go for the safe place. But no, I kind of suggest that they go for risky plays and let it be
all out.
Let it be all out. Improvise on the situation. I'm going to the moon here. I'm shooting the moon here. I do feel that they can still get a game. I'm going to predict that Nova can get 2 games.
Let's wait and see what the BP says, right? Because right now it's 3-1. They need to go and push for everything that they have. Like that's it. This is just the edge of the abyss. There's no tomorrow. You lose this one and then you go home. But that's it. You need to go with everything. You cannot save no more heroes. And it's going to be for TT Global just to shut the door on their faces or to allow a little bit of an opportunity.
It's match point here for TT. What Nova needs to do here, as Isaac mentioned, is go all out. If you have something you've been thinking about playing, wasn't quite sure about it, right? This is the time. Pull out all your comfort picks, whatever you think is going to win here, and good luck.
Oh my.
Good luck to those 2 teams. Nova Esports is going to be on the blue. TT Global is going to be on the red side. Let's wait and see if this is going to be the final game or we can push it to our game number 6. Sagi, Blam, off you go.
Thank you very much, Analyst Desk. We are back for potentially the match point here. So everybody at the Amazon Arena, those at home, you are needing to be on the edge of your seats here because Nova Esports, TT Global may be going at it for the final time.
And once again here, Pei will be locked in for the side of Nova Esports to amp up their tempo in the early game that have been losing towards TT Global for the past 3 games here. And we look at the bans here. Dharma, Fatih, once again being locked away from the side of Stren's hand. We know for a fact that Stren is the FMVP coming in from the MKL here, but he is being targeted heavily this series.
Being targeted heavily, absolutely. I mean, it seems very personal, but hey, when you have that intel for the enemy, like, you're like, boys, just like, what's going on? Just make sure that we are actually targeting those big carries, right?
Exactly the case here, and when we come into game number 5 here, more and more picks have been expended for both these two teams here. Dundolia being locked in for TT Global, standard stock, and a Mai Shiranui here being locked in for Crane here. Wow. Yesterday when we saw Mai Shiranui from AG.AL, that was bombastic and that was fast here. So TT Global here on their first 3 picks here are so strong in the early to mid phase.
Very strong, right? I mean, it's that Dune and Dolia combo that's so great, right? The double unruly blade means that you could set up such a great engage onto the enemy backline into the team fight just initially, or you can then use it to get back out, right? And then you've also got the sustainability that Dune already has, paired with Dolia as well, and just even more bans onto that clash lane, the Shangyu. I mean, Phil's probably crying right now in that green room.
He is expecting the pick to be picked up by Ching there, but man, it's not the time here. More and more picks on the clash lane are being burned down for the side of Nova and TT's pull right now. I gotta say here, 3 bans on Shen right now is devastating because my man is running out of hero options.
He's running out of hero options, but I mean, he could go for something like the Derringer, because he hasn't gone for that just yet. But, I mean, they need a little bit more of the late game potential, right? So the Flowball Marksman makes a little bit more sense there. We need to get to those, like, itemizations, make sure he doesn't get focused in the early game, but pairing it with the Motsu here, I feel like it's going to be a good combo.
It is indeed going to be a good combo here. At the very least, the early game is looking very good here from Nova Esports here. So, a lady soon being locked in here for TT Global here. We might be expecting some form of a clash lane here, maybe the Charlotte or Mirror here being locked in for Nova Strength.
Yeah, some kind of like split push potential, right? For the side of Nova Esports. But over to the side of TT Global, what do you think we're going to go for into the clash lane that side, right? I mean, they're definitely maybe going for more of a tank.
Well, only time will tell, Blam, because the coaches are discussing, the coaches are strategically planning the specific picks that they want to pick up. For TT Global, they still have one of the best blind picks, which is the Sun Ce here. For the side of Nova Esports here, they lock in their comfort pick, Kong Bing, for the side of Wendy here. They want to fight, they want to brawl.
Yeah, Wendy with the big guns coming through here with the winning strategies, but also the Lu Bang as well. So that's going to be pretty scary for the side of TT Global, but they answer in kindly with the Futsu. So split push potential here could be crazy.
So the difference between these two picks here, let's compare Liu Bang versus Fuzi here. Liu Bang wants to assist your team here, but if you leave your lane here, you're gonna be losing multiple towers towards the Fuzi here. So you gotta be careful, Nova Esports. You gotta be looking at your towers.
Yeah, nobody leaves baby in the corner because that's exactly what happens, right? Devastation can occur, but this may be the match point here. We have big guns coming in for the side of Nova Esports. We have the Kong Ming for Wendy. Is it gonna get them enough to get that second point onto the board? But those over at the Amazon Arena, we want to hear you cheer. We want to hear you say, Jayo for the potential first time.
Jayo TTG, Jayo Nova Esports. Let's give it a go. Nova Esports versus TT Global here. This is potentially your final draft of this series.
Potential final draft, and CY finally gets his pay. Wendy finally gets his coming, and Chuan is like, you know what, guys? The Lu Bang's actually looking pretty nice here, because if they can get the access in, obviously dive in with pay, CY can then obviously Chuan use the battlefield command, come back down, and then we can kind of see a little bit of a hokey-cokey go on within these team fights. But game number 5 going here right now. This could potentially be the point here that TT Global need to get themselves as one of the first grand finalists of the KWC.
Exactly, and right now we see a standard start coming in from both teams here, both wanting to secure this mid priority as it is so important.
It's very important. I mean, it's something that obviously TT Global's been abusing in the past 2 games as well, right? Like, they make sure that they get that T1 around about that 4-minute mark.
And a light up your cheer coming in from TTG fans here. TTG 加油，用实力打破质疑，最适合的5人组冲。So they are pushing for a cheer, making sure that these 5 members cheering on for their success in this international stage.
Yes, beautiful. Thank you for the supportive message there as well. And obviously for those on the global server, we have the Flowborn Mage being released here as well. Obviously not into the tournament, but you can put your hands and play such a fantastic variant of the Flowborn.
But looking at Strand here, might be caught out here. Okay, back to the Flowborn Mage here. What a special hero here. 1 in 3 with so many roles coming in from Flowborn here. And talking about Flowborn here, there's also the outfit design contest.
Yes, which the deadline is for today, right? So you got to get those in submitted as well. But speaking of submitted, maybe a kill here for the side of TT Global. Crane gets first blood.
First blood goes towards to the side of TT Global here. We talked about this, the importance of the classmate having so much resources here, but Muji goes to a 1v1 against Snowy. Snowy walks out alive, not scratched too much.
He walks out alive for now, right? I mean, definitely what he needs to be is just need Joy, come through, give him some more of that HP, just get him back into fighting shape here for the side of TT Global. But again, TT Global having that gold lead in the early game around about 1k, so around about 500 gold extra per minute. But speaking of per minute, we are looking at another kill here. Wendy gets taken down once more. This is the power of Sunrise on the Dune and Dolia combo.
Crane and Sunrise, the execution is flawless coming into that. And right now, more fights coming into this jungle.
More fights coming into the jungle. I mean, they always say, welcome to the jungle, baby. You're gonna die. That's a 2-0 trade here for TT Global. Not 4-minute mark on the map right now, because, I mean, they aren't really gonna look to push those turrets just yet because they still have that shielding.
And look at the replay here coming in from TT Global's execution here. Wavepin goes immediately gets punished, and the safe fight to lock down CY here. Amazing punishment coming in from TT Global. They know their early game is strong.
Yeah, that Sage's might is so oppressive, right? Like, if you can get the lockdown onto somebody like Wendy, onto CY, and then get the kill, it's going to make sure that those team fights are going into the favor of TT Global.
Exactly, and you get the buff and you get the kill here. That is to add insult to the wound there. It's so much going towards the hands of TT Global into this early game. And right now, the laning phase looks so safe for Snowy here. Look at him. He's styling, he's aura farming.
He's aura farming, and he's also gold resource farming, right? He's looking to make sure he gets all those stats through, because those know that Lady Soon is going to be that late game assurance, right, for the side of TT Global. But if we've looked how historically the past 3 games have gone, they are probably not looking for the late game. They're just looking to make sure they have that amazing power that comes through with the rolling raid and obviously the distance, the clearing of the ultimate shell.
I have to agree with you. Judging from the past 3 games, there is no late game to be talking about because TT Global has been so dominant. And look at the position right now. They are making sure that every single little resource goes to their pocket, choking further CY. This jungle carry pick further behind.
Yeah, I mean, that's not where you want to be if you're Pei, right? Pei needs to have that great early game. He needs to have those resources on point. I mean, overall, he does have the XP lead over Sunrise here, but it's more so that gold that we need, right? Itemization needs gold, not XP.
And look at the control right now coming into the jungle for TT Global here. They look for the engage onto Muji here. He's extremely low, but they are forcing them to back up from this buff.
Yeah, forcing them back up for the buff, but it's going to be a good catch here for Crane. He's able to get the knock off the 2, but it now comes in. It's Shawan with the Battlefield Command as well. If Think Inside the Box tries to come through here for Wavepin, but that is going to be a 3-0 trade here for TT Global.
Such a smart use of the Dolia Fuzi combo here. We were talking about, Dolia Dun, Dolia Rolling Raid, but the double Sage Might, double lockdown here. You see Liu Bang coming in to assist his teammates here, gets locked down, 2 members, all the kills goes over to the favor of TT Global. 5 minutes, 4,000 gold lead.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a sizable lead here for the side of TT Global, right? I mean, Nova Esports, they haven't had the most finesse within the team fights of this game number 5, but they need to come back. They need to make sure they have some assurance, right? So maybe trying to get some pressure into these lanes may be the case, but they definitely don't want to be losing the T2s, right? I mean, they've lost the T1s in all lanes. They've got to hold on to these safely.
Well, it is not their choice here, Vlad, because the side of TT Global, they are so strong and they are so dominant. Look at their tower damage here. Look at their wave state right now. They're making sure that they get all the paths all the space choking Nova Esports to their own base here. Look at Sunrise. No one can take him down as of this point.
No one can take him down, but nobody can contest him either, right? Like we've seen here, they're using obviously the Dolia to put down the ult and then use the wave breaker to push them away. And it just means that Nova's not being able to go to these T2s and save them.
Exactly, and right now, lesser and lesser tier 2s are on the mat right now. Wendy extremely low, has to back up. Tower is getting hit on. Every single hit matters. Look at this tier 3 here. No defense here coming from the side of Nova Esports.
Yeah, he's just really showing the potential of the Futsu pick, right? Like he's able to just run these turrets down like no man's business. And Ching here on this pick is doing great. And now, because they've opened up those outer turrets, they have access into Nova Esports' jungle.
So scary. The execution coming in from TT Global here. Yes. Objective-centric is the playstyle of KPL, but they are prized as well for being the best players in terms of mechanical gameplay here. And look at their micro skills here. That's what got them in these 4v4 team fights, 5v5 big skills. 0 to 7, that makes their mark.
It makes their mark, and they're about 7 minutes into the game, right? We're looking to approach that high ground turret that's sitting so nicely in the mid lane for now. Minion wave coming through, but Nova's going to try their best to make sure they're able to mitigate that takedown of that T3 in that mid lane. It goes down. They're looking for another one. Sage's might into the back line. The think inside the box being cancelled out right near, and Waypit gets left to the walls, but can they pick up a kill here on the side of TT Global? They're able to take 2. But can they get any more? Or else it's an ace here for the side of TT Global. And they are your first grand finalists.
Your first grand finalist, and Snowy secures a pentakill to close off a series with a 4-1 dominating fashion.
Penta coming through here. I feel like it's the first one within the KWC, right? I mean, semifinals is the places you're really looking to get those pentakills right. But we saw yesterday, AG.AL, they had their most dominant game, was their last game of the series. TT Global, same fashion.
Same fashion, dominating the game within 8 minutes, securing a pentakill onto Snowy from TT Global here. We are so damn amazed by this performance.
Very good performance, right? I mean, like we were saying, like, Lady Sun, she's normally that late game assurance, but when you don't need to get to the late game, a 7-minute match is where we got to, right? 7-0-1 for Snowy was pretty crazy.
It was pretty crazy. He had an amazing laning phase. Sunrise was so good onto this Dune, absorbing so much of this damage. And look at this Fuzi Dolia combo here. First Sage Rise to go in, second one to lock another member off the side of Nova Esports here. There is no fighting chance coming in from Nova Esports, and look at this pentakill.
Yeah, the pentakill was pretty crazy, right? I mean, this is going to be the breakdown here. Obviously gets the kill onto the backline now. Wendy's going to be the last one alive, rolls in, boom, gets the kill. Is definitely what we was hoping for here for the side of TT Global. Yes, Nova made the impossible bleed, but we're going to go throw it over to the stage. Mara, the gorge is yours. Sky.
Welcome back to the stage, and hereby joined will be Crane from TT Global on the stage. So say hi to audiences from all over the world. 跟大家打个招呼。
Hello， 大家好，我是广州 TTG 贺慈。
So congratulations one more time on make it to the grand finals. How do you feel after this match? 首先恭喜你们进入了决赛了。那这场比赛结束之后呢，此时的心情是怎样的呢？
很开心，然后进入决赛了，然后备好战迎接决赛吧。
We feel really excited and happy because we made it to the grand final, and we will do our best to prepare for the finals. And let's talk about game 1. So Nova did extremely well, ending up with a very huge lead of everything. So what happened, and what will be the post-match discussion and your adjustment after that? 我们想聊一下第一局的比赛，因为第一局其实对手非常的强大，给到了很大的压力。那一局比赛结束之后，大家的复盘，包括哲教给到的一些调整会是什么呢？
就是打完下局之后，然后哲教说稍微放开一点打，然后在他们进攻的时候该还手就还手，主动一点。
All right, so